vitamins and
So
different
now
strains,
I have
and
Pin
nothing really
Sweet.
works as good as these gummies. So we partnered with the company,
I
and
think
now they're going to be pack gummies,
I
and
could
so we
switch
can't
over the
wait to just launch
website.
them to our community too, and
It's
hopefully everybody
probably
gets
what I should
a
be
restful
doing.
sleep just like
But
we do.
instead,
Because
I really
sleep is
just
so
want to
important.
start doing
We all need
this.
our sleep, and
I
you need that
have
REM sleep. You need that deep sleep, so you do wake up rested, and this will definitely get that for you.
Yeah, we talked to another project recently that
I
they
have
they have like an incentive where you actually earn something while you sleep. So like when you do healthy things throughout the day to take care of yourself. So it's just a great way to get people to be more conscious of what we're putting in our bodies and how we're treating ourselves, because that is the
does
most
that
important
look
thing with
not
mental health. You have to take care of
oh
yourself, especially before you take care of others. And a lot of us here are givers and helpers. So sometimes we have to remind the healers to heal themselves and to give all the love that they give out to the world to share it back with themselves. So
Yeah, and I'd love to hear from some of our speakers tonight if they're open to speaking about it. Like what, everybody has unique things that really gives them that, mental break in the day or a way to wake up in the morning that just sets your day off right. And it's really great hearing from others as to what really works or what have they tried that just they seem to stick with and just really makes a difference in their day. So if anybody has anything that they'd love to share, we'd love to, just share more information with our community, because you never know who's listening or who might say, oh, wow, I want to try that. And it really makes a difference for them. Because I know I just tried just about everything and see what works for me.
well, we did have Jay Connect and Art Inspo come up. So do you all want to share a little bit with us?
I mean, sure, I don't really have any morning rituals besides when I wake up in the morning, I like basically read the entire internet. Um, I do like to read though as a relaxation tool. So, if I'm feeling a little, you know, off or whatever, I'll just start reading and it puts me in my happy place and then I go on with my day.
Reading is definitely a way to relax the mind. A lot of people, whether you turn to reading or you listen to music or you watch something mindless on TV, it's a mindless act that will kind of help you disconnect maybe from whatever's around you and lets you focus and zone in on whatever, like you said, your happy place is. Reading definitely does that to me, whether I'm listening to like a book or I'm reading it myself. Sometimes even the smell, the way that the book smells, the smell of those pages really gets to me. There's something that takes me back about that. So thank you for sharing that. Love that. Anybody else have some rituals they'd like to share?
I can share one, and that is, one of the things, this is William, one of the things that I like to do is Tai Chi. Why? Because, well, besides that, it's just amazing for
So what are we
health in
doing?
general. It's for those who say that they find it hard to sit, to meditate. You're actually
I want to
moving while you're
create a
doing
few
it. So
buildings.
your attention's really on the movement and how your body feels while it's moving. So it's a nice distraction from saying I can't sit, because now you actually get to just move very slowly. And so it's a little hack for the brain. And it might just be, you don't even need to know the actual form. Maybe you can just move your arm very slowly. And so this way you're putting all your attention on the movement of that body
And
part.
how
So
many
it's
of
in its
these should
own
we
way
have?
a
This is
kind of
going
a
to be another
mindful
big
meditation.
gallery, isn't it?
And so, that's something that I like to do for myself and something I like to share with patients, clients, because it's still going to slow down the mind.
These will need to have, storefront
I love that you just said
on.
that. And that's something I've always, well, I won't say always, but something probably in the last 6 months I've really wanted to, I guess, just try to learn just more about it. I watched some YouTube videos and just some people speaking on Tai Chi and how it changes the mind and relaxes the body and all the intention in it. And it just sounds beautiful to me. So that would definitely be something that would be a new practice I would want to learn, but I almost feel like I need a coach in doing it. William, coach Tai Chi.
I don't coach Tai Chi, but I take classes from a school in Florida, and so I can tell you the name of the school if you want to look them up.
I would love that, yes, please.
And look up heavenmanearth.com. They just did a documentary on the founder, Adam Misner, because of his unbelievable abilities as he does Tai Chi. So heavenmanearth.com, that will, and just YouTube that, and you'll see some unbelievable things that is part of human potential, but we don't realize we can do until we take up a practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that.
I know William, like I said, IRL in real life, and since he implemented the Tai Chi, his power has strengthened, his healing abilities have strengthened, and it's also simultaneously like made him gentler. So it's just incredible to see the evolution and all of these different healing modalities that throughout our journey, our soul's like, okay, you're ready for this now, and you listen and you surrender, to that intuition, and it just elevates you to a whole different level. So it's been really cool to see that.
Okay, well, this
William,
is just
Tai
to
Chi.
get like the idea of things.
All right, who had their hand up first? And we finally have Sammy in the house. Thank you for coming, love.
Hey guys, what's up? And we got my friend Josh. What up, Joshy?
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
What's up,
Where's the party at?
The party's here. Let's let Jake next go, and then Lisa, the anxiety doctor, and then we'll get the other party started.
Hey, how's it going? How everybody doing today?
Chillin', Jay. How are you?
Doing good. Just left work. Heading home now. Talking about ways of like relaxation. I would say it's as simple as going for a walk, going for a stroll. It really like clears my mind from a lot of things that are going on. Our Mint's coming up in 2 weeks, so it's been like a huge push for like emotional stuff and
So what I want
collaborations,
is
virtual escape rooms, all these different things that we have going on simultaneously. So just going for a
for it
walk,
to look normal,
drink a glass of water,
right?
and
From
clear your head.
this angle,
Unplug for a bit.
and
That's
then
what I do.
when you walk
Ooh, thank you
around,
for mentioning the water. So yesterday, my children and I went to the park, and
it's
of course, like little
like
kids see things a lot differently, their perspective. So
a
I
war
was sitting in the
zone.
grass, grounding, doing my thing, getting some sun, some vitamin D. And my daughter comes next to me, and there's a little tiny baby turtle on the grass, but it was dying, like it wasn't moving, and you could tell he was super dehydrated. So I was like, okay, guys, say a prayer, set your intentions, and let's give him some water. Let's see what happens. And today, he's a normal turtle, and he came back to life with water. So water is just literally so important. It's what gives us life, and it's what we're made of. And
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So we saved a little turtle. What's
But
up,
thank you
Lee?
for sharing that, Jay. That's sometimes it is as simple, or it can be as simple. Like sometimes I think we overwhelm ourselves with, what we have to do to try to calm our minds or disconnect. And sometimes the overwhelming thought of, oh my God, I don't know how to meditate, or I can't exercise for an hour, or whatever it might be. And it really doesn't have to be anything bigger than just disconnect and go for a walk. And then try to pay attention to your surroundings. Try to feel
Just
your
like
feet hitting the ground with
one
every step you take. Things like that will
thing.
quiet your mind. And sometimes it
And I
can
just
just
want
be
this
that
to be
simple.
like
So thank you for sharing that.
a huge
Yeah,
clock tower.
connecting with nature. And to me, water is like one of my biggest healers. So I love it in my bath. Keeping yourself
Yay.
hydrated,
Okay, so we're
obviously,
gonna have to
you
just make
function
everything
better
smaller.
and you're less irritable. So drink your water and your tea. Right, Lisa?
That was what I was going to say. Tea and magnesium is actually really, really good for sleep and relaxation. I like it better than melatonin. Sometimes with melatonin, you feel groggy in the morning, and it kind of can mess up with your just feeling kind
Circadian.
of, yeah, and it can affect you in the long term. So magnesium, really good for you. Tea, but of course meditation, all the stuff that we know we need to do, disconnect, not be on our devices, but also journaling. That's one thing that I teach my patients, especially the ones that have trouble with racing thoughts that keep them from falling asleep. Just learning to journal and keep your worries and your thoughts in the journal, in your notebook. It's really powerful.
Yeah, and to what you're saying, the magnesium is great too. So yeah, and the CBD, I agree. If you take it every day, it does like build up in your system, or the melatonin, excuse me, does build up in your system as well as the CBD. So you can, if you're taking it every night, yes, you can definitely feel a little groggy. So you have to wake up knowing how you feel, and then obviously, throughout your week, decide when you want to take it or when you need it. It shouldn't be an every night thing. But the magnesium is great, whether it's a magnesium pill or a powder. I drink mine as a powder, and I warm it up in hot water, kind of drinking it like a tea, and it is very soothing and relaxing before bedtime too.
Yeah,
I'm
I usually
thinking
recommend the powder instead of the pill.
that this should
A
be
lot
on
better for
angle.
you.
Kind of like.
Zoomojis, go ahead, please.
Oh yeah, I think I just chimed in real quick, and then I think I got to enter another space. But I've actually tried a number of these things, and they do work. It sort of depends on my mood, though. But I have this weird thing where if I actually don't work out in the morning, I have physical headaches. I actually get headaches if I don't work out in the morning. I don't know when that started, but it's just this weird thing that happened over time. But I mean, it really depends on my mood. Sometimes I just need to veg, and I'll just play a video game that requires no real thought behind it. Or I used to, when I was a teenager, I used to draw on my jeans all the time. I have like a bunch of my old jeans that have all sorts of scribblings on them and stuff like that. So it really sort of depends on my mood. But anything, I find that I spend so much time thinking that anything that will get me out of that mindset, if they can do it without thinking, really helps me a lot to unwind.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I love that you said it depends on your mood and that you've tried or do so many different these things. And it's so important because it's not just going to be one thing that we do every day, like the same thing every day. You definitely need different modalities, and whether it's, like you said, vegging on the couch, whether it's playing a game or watching a show or reading a book or going for a walk, we definitely have to listen to our bodies and go with the flow and, do what you feel like you need. It's definitely important, but at least the knowing of what it is that you can do that helps is really important, and hoping that we can bring that education to a lot of the community. So thanks for sharing that.
Thanks so much. I think I'll step down now. That's all right.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Nate.
Again.
Oh, I've got to say goodbye. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say goodbye. I've got to run. So thanks so much for having me.
Oh, thank you, William. We love you. We'll have you on again. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. I love you too. Thank you for having me. It was terrific. I was so glad I got to read the book to everyone.
Big hug.
Thank you so much.
William, I told you about the event, the Solana store grand opening in Wynwood tomorrow at 8 p.m. Did I tell you that already?
You did not, but I would have loved to have gone. I'm going to be at La Sound Temple doing little short sessions there.
Yeah, you're going to be with my boy Simon. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, love you. Have a good night. I'll talk to you after the case. Thank you for everything.
Oh no, this is looking like another A.
I just wanted to share that I'm not sure if anyone else has the same experience, but I don't actually have the discipline, the self-discipline if my phone's on my nightstand not to wake up and just reach for it and start going at it. So a routine that I've made recently is like putting it literally out of my arm's length so I don't mess it up routinely. And in doing so, my very first sweep of looking at my notifications and technology and everything every morning, I do it outside. So I get up, I make my bed, and then I grab my phone and I march my half awake butt down the stairs outside, and I start doing it outside. And then when I'm done with that, I go and take a shower that ends cold. And it's kind of miserable, but it also has a benefit. I'm not sure if anyone's ever explored that with the cold shower. If you can't do it for a period of time, it's pretty crazy. I definitely think there is something to it. I mean, I know there is science scientifically, but I love it and hate it at the same time. I think I'm getting something out of it though.
It's very beneficial for you. It is incredible. You feel empowered. You feel just a lot better, and it's good for me for my inflammation. But as far as the charging your phone right next to your bed, no one should be charging their phone right next to their bed unless you're on call and you need to get to work. But nobody should charge their phone right next to their bed. It's really hard. Even if we try not to grab our phone when we wake up. If we need to go to the restroom in the middle of the night, the first thing you do is you want to check the time. And guess what? When you grab your phone, you're not only going to check the time, you're going to look and there's, oh, someone messaged me, or I have 5 notifications, or I have 5 emails, or I have 5. And so that just kind of, first of all, the blue light activates or stimulates your mind, and it just snowballs into 2 hours of scrolling through your phone. So yes, no one should be charging their phone next to their bed.
I appreciate you saying that, Lisa, because the past couple of weeks, and Jay knows this, I've been trying to do something different every morning. Instead of waking up in the mornings and looking at our phones right away, because I do charge my phone by my bed, it's right there, so I'm guilty. But I've been trying to just wake up, and instead of looking at our phones right away and jumping into Twitter and the posts and the emails and everything that goes along with the start of your day, I've been trying to just wake up and let sunlight be the first light I see. And then within the first 15 minutes of being up, no coffee, no nothing, just a glass of water, and walk outside and take about a 30-45 minute walk. Now, I will have my phone on that walk. I am listening to YouTube, whether it's a meditation or some other, like, you know, just some type of therapy or something I like listening to. That's what I do on my walks. And then I come back, and of course, then I'm kind of like, okay, getting into work mode, have my coffee and all that. But what I will commit to tonight, because it's something I've been meaning to do, is not have my phone near my bed. So with you and everybody on this recorded call tonight, I'm going to say I'm going to take my phone out of my room tonight.
How do you get to your bed
without
without
I'm going to see if I can actually make this happen.
being
So,
able to see where things are?
Yay, I'm going to ask you.
Oh, I know you will. That's why I'm trying to keep myself accountable here, too.
I don't know why
That's
everyone's
awesome.
always
You'll
harping
see the
about this stuff.
difference.
I
You'll
should probably
wake
stop.
up, just, it'll be great for you.
Awesome, thank you.
Looking for just attribution.
And one of the ways that I get out of funks whenever I feel, you know, my mood off, or I just feel like I need extra love, is definitely music. That always helps me, like, change my vibration and moving my body around. I'm guilty of charging my phone next to my bed too. I don't know if I'm ready to commit to the change, but Nancy could lead the way.
I'll let you know how it goes.
It's like a phobia, I guess, with the kids. I don't know. Like, you go from, like, freaking out because you think the newborn's crying, and then, like, I don't know if it's a mom thing, but these are just excuses. I really just...
If your kids live with you, you should not be charging your phone next to your bed.
I know, they don't sleep with me, but they live with me, sure.
They live with you, yeah.
My feeling about not having the phone near my bed, and it's kind of flip-flops. Like, I don't have children, but I have elderly parents. So my thought is like, oh, well, what if they call in the middle of the night? What if something happens? But the other room's close enough, and I can hear the phone if it rings. So I'll just have to make sure that it's on loud. That's all. But I'm going to try that.
No, it's how I unwind at night.
Good idea, Nance.
And you can also, like, with my husband charges his phone right next to his side of the bed. And so my parents know that if anything happens, they know that I don't charge my phone right next to my bed. So they'll call him if it's any emergency late at night.
So it's okay for his head, but not yours.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I've told him and he doesn't listen, so.
That's cute. I'm just teasing. Well, thanks for sharing that. So that's definitely a practice I'm going to try to put into play, and then I'll let you guys know how it goes in about a week. Hopefully I can keep it going for a week, and we'll see what kind of difference it makes in my days. Hopefully it's something I notice too.
So, fam, I just posted a really juicy sneak peek at our event for Art Basel that we'll be having on Thursday, December 1st. I pinned it to the top, so go ahead and take a look at what we have in store with the Miami jungle with the Party Apes Club. I'm really excited for you guys to see it. We just posted it up here at the top. And I think we're ready for
I think it's supposed to be more subtle than this, honestly.
Well, everybody, yeah.
All right, guys. So thanks for being patient with me. Sorry I had to figure out a few things before we popped in here, but we made it. Do you have any requests by any chance, Jay?
The blockchain babes, I think they wanted Meta Girl definitely as one of the songs.
We do love your Meta Girl song. I think we know just about every lyric in it now.
Ooh, okay.
And I love when you listen the Spanish lyrics.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do a little. This is the Bad Bunny version. All right, here we go. This one's Metamor. Here it goes. Yeah, I love a meta girl inside the metaverse. She pulled me out of earth like this. She got me spinning all on that Ethereum. Made her my one-on-one real quick. A digital heart, yeah, she got it in a while. And for going up while I'm over here falling. I love a meta girl. I love a meta girl. Yeah, my escape from reality, virtual fantasy, prettiest myth I ever seen. And she burning my battery, love what she did to me. Got the smash stuck behind the screen, hottest thing around the blockchain. Can't believe that she my baby. Everybody thinks I'm crazy, cause I don't wanna go back, don't wanna go back. I love a meta girl inside the metaverse. She pulled me out of earth like this. She got me spinning on that Ethereum. Made her my one-on-one real quick. A digital heart, yeah, she got it in a while. It's flow going up while I'm over here falling. I love a meta girl. Yeah, I love a meta girl. Me enamoré en un minuto. Ese cuerpo tuyo es un toque de electricidad. Es que saco del futuro. Llévame a tu mundo y dime que eso es realidad. La mejor de la cadena. Casi toco las estrellas. Me sacas del planeta. Y yo no quiero volver, no quiero volver. Eres mi metamor, tienes mi corazón y escapémonos de aquí. Estado magicado, fuego digital, nunca pensé amarte así. Tienes mi alma dentro de tu boleto, me desconecto con solo un beso. Eres mi metamor, I love a meta girl. Yeah, I love a meta girl. I love a meta girl. Thanks.
Thanks, sir. That was beautiful.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Love that version, man.
Yeah, it's my
Muy guapo.
That was good, Josh.
mucho guapo.
Lo sé. Gracias.
Dude, you're too good.
Sammy, you're gonna come party with us in Miami?
Oh, yeah. I'll be there.
I'm so excited.
Wait, you're gonna...
Who? Oh, I am, for sure. Party Apes Club is gonna be there.
I just
Let's
booked my
go.
flights last night.
Ooh,
I'm so excited.
You'll see me and Josh. Let's go.
that's incredible. I just posted the sneak peek at the top to one of our events. We haven't released the information for the other one, but you'll get a good idea of what we have in store for you. And I just can't wait to party with you all and let loose and have fun and celebrate everything that we've been doing and grinding for all year. So we have to do one more giveaway. It is the Miss O'Pool girls. Let's see. I pinned it at the top. Let's go ahead and let everybody get a couple more minutes to enter. Sammy, you want to sing us another song while they do that?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna do an original song that I don't really do very often on Spaces.
Ooh.
You guys hear it on Spotify. It's called On God. It goes like this. On God, I swear I never had an angel like you. Where the hell you been all my life? songs and singing everything I got. Yeah, oh God.
Which, I mean, honestly, we can get rid of it.
As long as that sun comes up and goes down, I'ma tell you right now. Oh God, oh my mama, if I gotta fight for you, I'm gonna. Yeah, you know I'd leave things word before I leave you, girl. I meant it when I said I do. Oh God, I got you, baby. Give anything for what the good Lord gave
I
me.
keep hearing On Guard and not like Oh Girl, which makes the meaning of this much different.
Oh God.
Okay, so it's gonna rely a lot on magic.
That was beautiful. I love hearing new things. I'd never heard that song before. Thank you. That was really.
Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate that. Y'all can hear that on Spotify if y'all want to hear it later on. And Apple Music, any of the streaming platforms. Just type in On God Sammy and it should pop up.
Oh, On God. Okay.
Yes, sir. And I'm sure everybody here knows about your project, but just in case we have some newbies, do you want to just tell us what's going on with you and Pixelated and all that good stuff?
Thanks, guys. Thanks. I mean, you know me. I don't really like to pop up and show, but I appreciate you, throwing me the spotlight. My name is Sammy Arriaga. For those of you who are wondering, nice to meet you guys. I'm a music artist here in Web3. Been doing music now for about 13 years. Prior to Web3, I've been signed to Sony Music before, but decided to walk away and just kind of do the independent artist thing and retain ownership of my art and just kind of do things the hard way. And I like it like that because when it's the hard way, there's a better foundation and there's an even deeply rooted relationship, and friendship with the fan, as opposed to just being like signed to one of these big dog companies that kind of put you in those places and then there's like nothing to support. But yeah, just been in Web3 having fun since last. There's one's called Meta Girl, which is the first song I sang. If you guys go to OpenSea and type in Meta Girl by Sammy Arriaga, you guys can find the music NFT for that. And I just recently dropped a second one inspired by my song Pixelated. And this is actually my first ever shot at a PFP collection. And so I thought, how cool would it be to create a collection where the fan can now support me and flex the fact, that they're a supporter of, whatever we're doing in my ecosystem and my music career, etc. And so now, like, it's really cool to see some of my music supporters wear the PFP and, pick up ones off the floor that they resonate with or they might look like, you know what I mean? And we also produced the song in 12 different genres, and we also gave them their own rarities. So they all pretty much range from common to legendary. And then, of course, we have built-in utility for those who collect all 12 versions. And yeah, we have a pretty fun little ecosystem going on right now. It's not just a music NFT, it's also a PFP project. And in my opinion, it has the potential to be a brand somewhere down the road. We have merch now, we have toys. We're about to have skateboards. So yeah, I mean, things just keep getting cooler and cooler, but the root of it all is music. And, I'm just happy that as a music artist, I was able to bring to life and that my fans can now show off that they're, supporters of mine. If you just type in Pixelated by Sammy Arriaga on secondary, you should be able to find it. I believe the entry point right now is like 0.05. But yeah, we just released a merch store. If you tap the link in my bio, you can see some of the new goodies that we just dropped. We got hoodies, keychains, tank tops, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it's pretty much it. Nice to meet you guys. And if you want to check out some more of my music on Web2, like I said, just check out Spotify, Sammy Arriaga, and you can find my whole catalog there.
Yes, sir. Thank you for all of that. And you reminded me with the merch, and obviously you're a singer. we have a little community engagement giveaway going on where if you contribute lyrics for the Party Apes Club anthem, you're entered into the giveaway to win some of our merch, which is a really cute GM hat. So it's pinned up here, the 5th pinned tweet. So yeah, Sammy, if you want, drop some lyrics. That would be amazing to have you part of our, collection in our anthem.
That would be amazing, absolutely.
Yay, beautiful. Mr. Savage, did you want to share a song with us?
Yo, yeah, I'd be happy to. It's 4 a.m. for me here right now, and I'm staying at my mate's, and their neighbours don't appreciate me singing at this hour. However, I've got my iRig set up here, and it would be an honour to share one of the songs on my Love Letters collection, which is minting right now.
Yes, that would be wonderful, and you would be substituting my sound bath at the end of our space, so it's perfect. Thank you.
Oh, is that the vibe we're going for?
Well, whatever vibe, but your music is substituting the sound bath.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, I was thinking, seeing as this is a party, I was going to play the Young Fools track, which is one of the most upbeat songs on the collection. And if we have time later, I could even do maybe a nice piano version of one of the songs for your sound bath.
Yes, do it, please.
I don't understand why people
want to listen. This is Young Fools, which is on
I'm being a jerk.
Letters, which is minting right now, 888 handmade letters. And feel free to check out more info in the... Well, actually, can I put it up top? Does that work for you guys?
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
There you go. And you can mint the love letter right now for 0.08. And this is Young Fool's studio version. Here we go. Lived a lifetime in a moment, and you walk past every door, wasted time second guessing, while searching for more.
What is my thing doing?
Climb the walls of impatience.
Rabble, rabble, rabble. Okay. This might wind up being one of those things where I'm actually doing animation this time. How cool would it be for it to be closed, and then when you get closer, it swings open? But basically, what we're going to be doing is we go through here, and everything along this side is like grid. There's gonna be a lot of, I've stopped pretty much doing this, but this time is different, obviously. I just want it to be like, we've got a couple of 3 trees back here, and the leaves are images. So it's like a canopy of do I need to make a Do you think I could? That's not a complete thought. I also need to go. Let's see. Can we make...
There you go. Hope you like that.
Very nice. I haven't heard music like that in a while. Different.
Loved that, Josh. Thank you so much. Super cool.
And Jewel, our giveaway winner for the Miss O'Cool Girls. I was trying to get you up here earlier, Jules. Congratulations. And go ahead and DM the Miss O'Cool Girls page, and they'll get you set up with your prize.
Thank you guys so much. It's an honor to be a part of your project.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Did you just find us tonight for the first time?
Yes, I came across it. It's really weird. So, I'm actually part of a lot of projects, and I see cool things all the time on Twitter, and I just literally came across yours, and I was like, this is so amazing. So I looked into it, and I read about it, and I would like to know a little bit more, like, what do you guys, like, what kind of project, like, what do you guys offer, and what is your project mainly about? I know a lot of projects do, like,
Oh, art! Puddles!
Are you talking? Did I get rugged?
no, you did not get rugged.
Okay.
How are you, Art?
I am in a little bit of a bad mood, but it's nobody's fault. So there's that.
Well, now you have to tell us.
No, like, it's just I went to bed late last night, and I am a child, and therefore not emotionally regulated today. And yeah, basically I need to go to bed tonight early. By early, I just mean like on time, and then tomorrow will be much better.
You know, it's so crazy because I felt the same way today. Like, I never could get into my usual groove. I mean, even to the point where I was like, am I going to even have the energy for the space? And then I thought, just, you know, if you set a space, just show up, and then it's always good, you know? You always learn something.
Yeah.
But Art, I just wanted to say thank you so much for the other night. Oh my gosh, did I have a total another breakdown in your recorded session? I just really appreciate your support, and I got a lot of things taken care of, which is good, and I'm hoping to get this job at this sushi restaurant. Honestly, it pays $15 an hour. It's part-time, and all I have to do is hostess and like wrap up to-go orders. And so I find out tomorrow if I get that, and that would be perfect for me because it's right down the road, you know, just simple. Anyway, so
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm rooting for you. I really hope that you get that job that you really want, and then, you know, once you have that job and you can pay your rent, like, you know, we can get you more promo films, and we can try to get you more, like, you know, videographer jobs that might take a little longer to get, you know, because, like, restaurant jobs, you go and you get them. Like, I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, but yeah, if you could have a job before the end of the week, that would be amazing.
It's so funny because I called him today And I said, I came in yesterday and I filled out an application. I just want to make sure the owner got it. And he said, yeah, I remember you. And I said, oh yeah, Kevin, how's it going? So he's like, I really appreciate you calling, but we'll be able to get back to you tomorrow. And I thought that was the bonus that I called. Because he did say, we'll get back to you in a few days. And that was yesterday. And I thought, I'm just going to call and just so he can hear me on the phone. And that's another thing, if you're good with people, then it's just another plus. But I just, I was looking up jobs that were personal assistants, administrative assistants, or working at a hotel. And I mean, I might still take a job like that, but this is different because it's a 5-hour shift and it's just, you're on your feet, you're moving around. It's not like the personal assistant. I'd be like running my ass off and running errands for somebody and doing Excel spreadsheets and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but it would be great if I had something by the end of the week. It can happen, right guys?
Absolutely. Yes, all of this. Like, I'm not trying to downplay these type of jobs, but like when I was in college, I applied to the Gator Dining, that's what they called it at UF, and I thought I was going for the interview, and they literally just like gave me a shirt, and I was like, and they were like, show up on Tuesday, and I was like, well, okay, I guess that's how that goes. So I have faith in you, Zeller, and you have your medicine, and like I understand that like on Saturday it seemed very overwhelming, nothing was open, like it's very hard when like everything is closed and you so we're gonna
Yeah, you know what it was is since I skipped a day of my medication, which I never do because I was trying to make it through the weekend, I just couldn't even, I was dizzy, frustrated, so it was so great that I could just talk to you, and we could just kind of, it was just helpful to be like, it's gonna be okay. Because you wanna know what? It always is. And I always think, Guy, every single time something happens, you figure it out, you have a few shitty days maybe, but you get through it because, and then something great happens. So it's just bizarre because I definitely was struggling like 36 hours ago or however many hours ago that the space was. But yeah, that's life for you. And Eddie, how are you doing? What's going on with your situation?
Hi, Zeller.
Hey.
So like I got mine and Malachi's utilities turned back on today through an assistance program.
Oh, that's awesome.
Then I checked the mail.
And there was probably something else. Oh, another bill.
Yeah. So then the bank has sent me to a lawyer to get my 3 months behind on my rugging, because this Twitter's really pissing me right the fuck off right now.
Yeah, you rug just a little bit, but I can hear you now.
Okay, so yeah. So I paid one of my 3 months behind bills on my house payment, which it's like not even that much, but they get all pissed off if you're 3 months behind. So I paid it. I got a check going in and paid it with like the little bit of money I had going in that was in the account to pay it, and he was all fine with it on the phone, and then he sent me to a lawyer. So then I opened a letter from the lawyer saying I had to pay like X amount of money to pay them back, and then I opened the next one and it was a collections agency for like a MediaCom bill, and then I'm like, you know what, I'm fucking over life right now, I'm just trying to get the gas turned on so I can get heat in the house.
Yeah, it's one thing at a time. It's one thing at a time. And I'm glad you got your utilities back on, and I'm glad you could make it. If you weren't feeling it, you didn't have to. But honestly, Eddie, it's so great because so many people love you here. And it's just a tough time right now. So, and I feel you. I totally feel you. I mean, I haven't waited tables in 20 years. It's like I'm going to be working with probably like 25-year-olds. And I don't even care because it's just, I'm like trying to survive at this point. I would just be grateful to have a job just to have some income. It's been very challenging, this move. And I had some money set aside to pay for my first month's rent. And, you know, it's like I had to get a chair. I had to get a desk. You know, like I can't be sitting on the floor all the time. So that money kind of dwindled away. And then I put up some NFTs and some of them sold. So that was cool. But I haven't really pushed that angle. I just, I don't know. It was more important to me. It just got to the point where, you know, the first is coming up. I better get something now. And it's got to be something instant, which is, you know, waiting tables. And the little, like the area this is in, it's like a cool area with a coffee shop next door and like an antique place. Like it's one of the cool spots I've found. So that's another thing. I like the atmosphere. So, you know, I mean, I have to suck it up, man. I mean, I'll be grateful if I get this job. And it's been 20 years since I've done it. So we'll see. And look who's here. Matthew's here.
I
might be here. I might be a bot. Yeah, so, yeah, we're living in challenging times right now. And I actually screwed myself this year. And I take responsibility for it. You know, so yeah, I hear where you guys are at. I have a bleeding heart, and I've known that I've been too generous from time to time. And when I have more money than I need, I do end up giving it away, loaning it away, and not getting it back, or pissing it away, or whatever. So buying 500 NFTs and then investing in a partnership that didn't work, and then buying more NFTs with my remaining money. Because I thought the partnership was going to work, and then the partnership didn't work. I really fucked myself. So I was depressed. That's why the last, I don't know if it's 30, 40 days, ever since the club canceled the partnership without talking to me, because I was asking too many questions like, have you had your smart contract audited? And is this a security? I was asking the tough questions, and they're like, oh, we're not going to answer those. We're just going to just cancel your partnership. I'm like, oh. So I literally was depressed and suicidal because I fucked up my finances, and I didn't do my due diligence on a partnership. So that's on me. But luckily, I did enough due diligence before other people got burned with money. So I lost money right now, and quite a bit. But now I'm back. Literally just the last couple of days I've been popping out. I'm getting back into spaces, and I've got my partner Maria here, my friend, who we're going to be working together, doing some things, and you know, even during this bear market, there's going to be some great projects that are being built, and NFT artists are making sales and stuff. So yeah, we got to do what we got to do. Get part-time jobs, full-time jobs, put our art part-time for a while. But I am excited about a lot of good things. So I'm going to go to the next level. I'm finally going to create my own NFTs. I am going to finally create my own projects. I've got a couple projects that want me to work with them, but a lot of them don't have money, so there's risk involved. Like, well, you know, if I give you my time and energy and it doesn't work, you know, so that's where I am excited about doing all things together. And yeah, Eddie, I'm glad you got some heat on right now. So yeah, let's just continue to support one another. And I'm back. I'm going to host a space here. I got up at 2 a.m. It's 4 a.m. here now, almost 4:20 a.m. And yeah, I'm getting back on spaces now. Yeah.
Me and Zellers have been worried about you, and like I was like, I'm just gonna call him, and I was like, well, he didn't answer, so I'm gonna text him. I told her, I said, I texted him and said, it's not about your car's extended warranty. So I was like, I gotta.
Oh, that was you. Shit. I didn't realize that was you. I saw that message. Like, I'm like, well, this is a pretty good scam. I like that, but fuck you. I don't know who you are, so I might have blocked you. Oh shit. So send me your number, and I can see if I can unblock that. Yeah. But anyway, I love that message, but I thought it was a scam, so I think I did block that because, you know, for me, I'm getting messages, you know, in the morning, and it's usually American scams. So I will block those numbers so that they don't wake me up, because I leave my phones on 24/7 too much. But yeah, no, I was worried about me, literally. I mean, this is the first time I'm living in a foreign country in a small village by myself. Other than that, I had the money. I was paying people who either lived in the village and could, you know, do things with me, translate, take care of my dog so I could have a life. And I had a couple come here that weren't a couple, then it became a couple, and things didn't work out. So I actually got depressed because I was here by myself, and I have 2 properties, and I'm a disabled vet. I can't do all the physical labor. So we spent all this time and energy, money building all this food and stuff. And I got depressed. A lot of the food just went to waste. I had fruit trees and stuff like that, and I'm not proud to admit it, but I mean, when you're depressed and suicidal and your life's fucked up, it's hard to do what you need to do. So I had a lot of fruits that went to waste this year and stuff because I'm like, I can't do this by myself. You know, I came here to build community and help support organics and refi and NFT artists and stuff. And that's okay. I mean, I've been around business, you know, literally since 1978. So I understand a lot of businesses struggle, and it can, in the old days, it used to take you 10, 20 years to become really successful. Now with Web3 and NFT artists, you actually could become successful within 6 months or a year or 2 years. I mean, that's nothing compared to the old days. So, you know, we're struggling during the bear market right now, but if you're a real artist and you're true, even if you got to get a part-time or a full-time job, you keep going with it. Within 1, 2, 3 years, that's nothing compared to the old days. You can have an international following, and I'm seeing successful artists now. And so if you stay true with it, and you look at me, I was ready to give it up. I literally, for the last 30, 40 days, whatever it was considering suicide a lot. Literally, I'm like, fuck it. I'm 58 years old. What I wanted to do hasn't happened. It's been too much pain here. If I go back to America, I'm in danger. We got to settle up with the IRS, or they could put my ass in jail. But so now my goal is to make a shitload of money so I can pay those little fuckers off, get them off my back. Because I'm a very principled man, and I stood up to the government because to me they've been fucking around too much for decades, and the bigger governments have. And I'm just tired of that shit. That's why I'm putting all my money into NFT, artists with heart, and the refi movement, and the Web3 and stuff like that, because it's our last hope. We, the people, got to change and support one another and support
Why does
the
this
best
look
projects,
like an arrow?
because the top-down shit has not been working. Now, we do have to work the top and the middle, and we have to work with them. So I'm not an anarchist, and I don't want to hate and kill and lock up all these people, but some of them should be in jail, and a lot of people in jail should not be in jail, and we know that. It's going to be a challenging decade, but I am optimistic. So I'm here to listen to you guys. I'm going to be uploading, doing some things. So let's get this party going, man.
So, Matthew, I'm so happy to hear from you. Honestly, I know you needed your space, and it concerns me that you're contemplating suicide. But I think that when we get in these tough times, we really contemplate it. You know, it's like, and you know, somehow we push through. We all have our own ways, but you're here. You're here. You made it through, and I'm very grateful you didn't do anything. It's just interesting that we'll have those thoughts, you know. And it's like the other day I was thinking that, like, I'm over this. I'm over this struggle, like, you know, crying and screaming, and why does it have to be this hard? And, you know, and I was just saying this right before you came in, it's like I bounced back the next day, and the next day was better, you know. And it really, there always is a good day that's coming, and when you're having a bad day, you almost have to own it, you know, and just be like, I'm upset, I'm pissed today, I'm this today, but the next day could be something great, especially if you're productive. Like if you do something for yourself today. I painted the peacock because I had been so hard on myself the last week and just stressing out about finding part-time work or any work and just surviving. And I thought, you know, you have to take your breaks and be creative, because that's what keeps me sane. Now, how is it that you pushed through? If you want to share, Matthew, you don't have to, but what do you think it was that pushed you through this last difficult time to get you to here?
Well, one thing that actually helped is that I actually bought a lot of Polygon, and it doesn't always show up in the MetaMask on what my balance was. And then MetaMask did something new, and it showed me that I had another $1,500 that I didn't know I had, and so I had to transfer it from Polygon back into ETH or whatever. And I mean, I was born different, and I had 6 surgeries on my body from age 3.5 to 6. So I've been fucked up mentally off and on for decades and decades, ever since I hit puberty around 14. And so I literally was suicidal almost every day of my life. Not like I was gonna do it, but I had self-worth issues, I had shame issues, I had, I'm not gonna get this woman issues, so I have a powerful story, and that's part of the reason why some people like my spaces, because I'm real, I'm authentic, I will say good, bad, ugly. Sometimes I'm drunk, that's rare. Sometimes I'm 420, and that's not as rare. And sometimes I'm straight, like right now. I mean, I don't have any coffee, no caffeine, there's no alcohol in my system or anything, no 420. But I just call the shots, and I've been tough on the establishment and in America. So I pushed it a little bit on Twitter with some of the vaccine lockdowns and bullshit like that. But I just don't care, because you look at how many people, reporters get killed every year, Earth defenders get killed every year, good people, get killed every year. We got these freaking wars where innocent civilians, hospitals, schools, wedding parties are getting blown up, and that's happened in the last couple of years. And I'm just getting tired of this shit, and so it's always darkest before the dawn. And like you said, actually one of my friends, Boki, came here, and he brought a friend, and so one of my properties, it's got trees and fruit trees and grass, so they help mow the grass. I trim some of the branches and stuff, and then that made me feel better, because before I was sitting on the couch watching TV for almost a couple weeks, being lethargic. I wasn't doing my yoga, my stretching. I was going for walks with the puppies every once in a while. But yeah, so I pushed through it, and doing my yard work is actually helping me. Cleaning up my other property is actually helping me. So it's okay. I mean, I've been up and down and all around for 58 years, primarily since I was about 14, and so I'm pushing through it. And yeah, I mean, the thought of killing myself here in Serbia, it was not something I wanted to do, of course. What the fuck's going on? So I did take responsibility for making bad choices, for not looking into this one partnership as much as I should have. And so I took ownership of that. And I am a procrastinator, and so now I'm going to release some of my own art, and I may offer to sell some of my own art. But you know what? Out of those 500 NFTs, I'm going to give away 111 of them on Jimmy Spaces, and I may do some on my space as well, because I bought a lot of that as a foundation, and so it's the foundation that bought it, it's the foundation that's given it. It's not totally legal yet, and I had the money, I could have made them legal here, but things just weren't flowing this year. And I'm like, screw it, I've got to do my own thing. So I'm going to partner with a couple different groups and help promote them, it looks like. And then me and Maria and some of the partners over here. And then I'm going to get partners, and we're going to build our own community, and we're going to do it grassroots. And it's a long-term vision. And it's going to be working with artists with heart and the refi community. Because I can't be a part of a partnership if we're not in alignment. And the last group I was in, obviously we weren't in alignment, or else we'd still be working. Because that was going to be the project. I mean, I meant the wellness hub, refi hub, women's empowerment hub, humanitarian hub, and a metaverse. So I do want a marketplace, because most of my friends on Twitter, they can't afford a $1,500 VR machine, and they don't have all the data, or they don't have the secure network like in Africa and stuff like that, or Cuba or Iran. They don't even have access to the freaking internet sometimes. So I want to have a marketplace, or partner with a marketplace, or marketplaces. I mean, I'm not crypto-centric where I'm only one person, or a marketplace-centric. I would say any artist, you should probably eventually, if you're a full-time artist or want to be, you should have at least probably 3 different networks that you're a part of, so that you have the exposure, whether it's Tez, and I'm not against the big boys like OpenSea and Foundation, but I would rather support the more independent groups and artists creating NFT marketplaces and stuff with lower fees and stuff like that, and just to have it be Web3 be centralized, where the rich own the majority of the shares again. That's not the world I want to support. So I'm excited to be here. So let's rock and roll.
He's back, ladies and gentlemen. He's back. It's so awesome. Okay, so if you ever need any short promotional films for all these collaborations that you're having, please let me know. And that is all I need to say for one time. Now, I've been in the space totally uninformed opinions. I was going to tell you this, Art, because after our discussion last week and how you had gone up there and they had shut you down, and I get it. So that's why I went to the space, just to kind of see how they run it. And let me tell you, they do shut down a lot of people, but what they're really doing is saying, these are our rules, please respect the space, this isn't a shill space, don't post to the top, don't cut anybody off. So I've actually really enjoyed that space, and I've gone up to the speaking panel like 3 different nights, and I learned a lot. So I was actually pleasantly surprised. But I understand if you went in there and you just accidentally kind of like were trying to just connect and then you shilled or something. Absolutely, because Meta Queen cut me off on something. But you know what? This is her space and these are her rules. So I didn't get offended because I was sharing the story about my frozen eggs. And we were talking about AI and if you could clone frozen eggs. Like, that was my question. Like, what could AI people do with my frozen eggs, since I have so many of them? Anyway, so Meta Queen totally was very respectful about that story, responded, and then I started getting into more of the emotional side with the doctor, and she said to me, we don't share all these different personal stories. So I just wanted to tell you, Art, that I did get cut off, but I totally respect people's spaces and how they run them. So it was clear to me what I was getting into, so I had a little bit of a different experience than you. But go ahead, Art.
Yeah, like I said before, it's not that I wasn't in the wrong. It was just, it's a funny story now. Like, I know I'm in the wrong. And it was just, I was just saying that's the only time I've ever been threatened to be kicked out of a space. So, I mean, it did leave an impression, but, you know, the usual. But yeah, you really do have to respect other people's spaces and how they run it and, you know, read the room. I was going to say, like, okay, so what I was also saying is when they're degenning late at night, like, I've heard, like, I don't think it's a normal thing, but I don't like going into spaces that are too out of control because I'm like a professional person that likes to stay on topic. So if someone's like, hey, this got out of control, and I felt harassed, and I was like, I don't want to even put myself in that situation where that could be a possibility. And so, like, yeah, I've been in there a couple of times since then, and yeah, they do have some good discussions, but, like, I'm not gonna go when they're being, you know, little degens. Like, they can have their after hours, and that's all I was saying.
You have such a healthy perspective on it too, and you know, I'm grateful you shared your experience because I went in there thinking I was prepared. You know, I'm not gonna shill. They might tell me not to do something, but I like Levitated was saying last week, I just learned a lot. But I know when it got into the later hours, yeah, it is a different crowd, and you, like you said, read the room and leave when you're ready. And I would. I just didn't know that I was going to enjoy it so much. So I was kind of caught off guard. Like, I was ready to be like, okay, who's going to say what? And I actually was taking notes, you know? Art, go for it.
Also, some things have been happening in the back channels, but I've been having the attitude of, like, if you don't want to hear about me and my project, I really just couldn't give a shit about your project. Like, I just, like, if you don't want me to share anything about me or my perspective on anything, like, I don't care how much industry experience you have. I don't care how much money you have. Like, you're not going to help me. Like, I know it's not transactional, but, like, you know, like, it's just one of those, like, maybe it's a bad attitude to have, but, and, like, some spaces you do. You just go in, you listen, and there's experts, and you do that. But, like, deep down, like, if I'm following you and you don't follow me back, and it's not, like, tit for tat, but, like, after a while, I'm gonna be like, why am I following you? I'll put you in a list somewhere and never look at you again, but I'm not gonna follow someone that doesn't then support me back. And that's, I don't, like, maybe this is burnout. This is how burnout is manifesting with me. Or, like, like the cynical, like, after you've been in a space for a while, but, like, I don't want to be in a space requesting for 4 hours and never get to speaker. And, like, that, which happened today, and I was just, like, feeling all the feelings. I'm like, I'm not, like, entitled to time in your space, but, like, damn, I have time, and like, this is not showing a respect for my own time if I'm listening for 4 hours trying to speak.
Absolutely agree. Go ahead, Matthew.
Well, yeah, and this is important, and I'm glad that we're having this conversation. I mean, I've been on I don't know how many thousands of spaces since middle of February this year. And yeah, so knowing the rules, and so yeah, I've been on that one where they don't like interruptions and stuff. Maybe sometimes they don't reset the room as much. They get people in there and they don't really know the rules and stuff. So I would like to be gentle. Like if somebody comes into my space, because my space, you can interrupt other people if you're a speaker. You can act like a host if you're on a speaker's panel. But yeah, if somebody's talking and it's really important and you're interrupting and stuff, yeah, I mean, I've had very few incidents where I've muted people, like fun for like AJ and stuff like that, or kicked people out of the room. But yeah, I've been on that space as well. So reading the room, knowing what their rules are is important. And, like me, I follow lots of people that are bigger than me, have lots of followers and stuff. And so they don't need to follow me back because I want to be connected to them. So I don't do the tit for tat either. And I don't follow right now. I mean, I went from 3,800 followers, less than that this year, to now over 21,000. So I am behind on some of the followers, but people that like leave comments and stuff like that, then I see they're following me, then I do follow them. And so I do, I follow almost as many as that I am followed by. But yeah, Twitter, it's its own little world, and there's lots of little worlds there. Real quick, there's one story where there's this one Indian guy who had a huge, massive ego, and I love fucking with people that have huge, massive egos because I've had a huge, massive ego as myself and come from an egoic family. And there was this guy, and he just thought he was like the world's best space host, literally. And I really believe that he believed that. And I tried to chime in there real quick, and he couldn't even let me, he would ask me a question, and I'd start to answer it, and he would cut me off. So people like that, and so I retweeted him being an asshole, which he was, and then I blocked him. I'm like, I don't, I love fucking with egomaniacs, but I thought he would at least let me, say a sentence or two without being interrupted, but he couldn't do it. His ego is that massive, so it's like, no, I don't need to support someone whose ego is twice as big as mine. So anyway, yeah, I had my hand up, so I apologize for that. But yeah, that's great. And Twitter Spaces, we got to take our time off. I mean, a lot of us are on Twitter Spaces way too much. I have been, so I'm gonna be on Twitter Spaces a lot today. And I was Jimmy did one for 30 hours the other day, and I was on that for, I don't know, probably at least 15 or 20 hours of it, maybe 22, I don't know. And so yeah, I'm not gonna do as much crazy stuff. I will do long ones, day ones from time to time. I'm not gonna do as crazy long spaces as I did. I will join other people's spaces, which I enjoy doing a lot as well. And this is a great one. So we got some great people in here, so let's keep it moving along, and we can retweet the room, get some more people in here.
You're so sweet. And he's back, ladies and gentlemen. He's back in action. I mean, Matthew, seriously, you're like totally talking the future and health and progression, and you already have things collaborating. Like, you're back on track. Sometimes you get shot down, and it just takes a little while to recover, but you're bouncing back.
And being real and authentic, people like that. You know, I mean, Eddie doesn't hide his depression. I don't hide my life. And my family used to hate that I supported cannabis and that I supported social justice and that I supported hemp and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I know it's the right thing. We should not be locking people up for a fucking plant that is safer than alcohol and having alcohol be legal. And you get drunk, you do crazy things, you drive crazy, you crash, you kill people, you beat your wife, whatever. It's like, screw that. I will stand up for righteousness and I'll die for righteousness if that's be it. But if you're going to be a hypocritical Christian, I will call you out. And my family hated that too. It's like, you guys talk behind my back, so I'll talk behind your back, bitch. And they started it. It's like Billy Joel, I didn't start the fire. You know, my father started telling stories about me that weren't true behind my back. I'm like, well, fuck you. I'm going to tell true stories about you. Yeah, anyway. We did resolve before he died, and so I am better now.
Zeller,
Yes, Eddie.
just
The telemarketers just texted you about your extended car warranty.
Yeah, so I have you in my contacts now, so I know. But just know that you're in the Midwest, so you're like 8 hours ahead of me. So if you text
Well, and
me,
I'm dyslexic and bipolar, so for me to keep track of time when I'm DJing out in some of these spaces, it's hard for
that's
me.
okay. I don't. Yeah, I wasn't sleeping as much as I wanted to recently as well. So a lot of the dings didn't really wake me up. But yeah, I do. Yeah, and then I get on the political list sometimes. They're like, "Oh, did you vote? You vote?" Like, fuck you. I'm not even in America. So I do the stop thing and stuff like that. So.
Art, you wanted to say something? Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was gonna say, during our space on Saturday when you were talking about your relationship with your mom, which when Matthew was talking about this, it reminded me. I actually just wrote, "Call mom," because I actually have a good relationship with my parents, and I'm like, I need to tell them I'm so grateful that they're not assholes, because it.
Oh, I'm so happy that you're saying that, because I would love to be able to call my mom and have a great relationship with her, you know, and be like, hey mom. So yes, if you have a great relationship, just absolutely call mom. I love that. I love that you just told us that, because I'm glad that you know you have good parents. That's really cool.
So my mom is so supportive that she was going to let me post, because she's a amateur photographer and she gets a bunch of prizes whenever she enters into contests, but she's like, wait, no, I can't sell things, because if I do, then I have to be with the pros and that would be actual competition. And I'm like, that's fair.
I think she could do well selling her photography, Amy. I think maybe just kind of like take her with you into like one of the Twitter spaces about photography and just show her like some of the photography that's being put out. And it's not for like a comparison sake, but just let her know that there's different variations and different levels of photographers. You know, people that take their photos like myself with my phone, and there's other people that's got these, you know, $8 million lenses or whatever and talks to Kodak, you know, so there's different levels. So, I mean, I think she would fit right in with everybody in the community, and the photography community would uplift her.
It's so dumb, but it feels like almost the only way I would talk to her anymore, because I'm always in Twitter spaces. I'm like, Mom, I have a meeting. And she's like, at 11 p.m. at night. I'm like, I know. I'm crazy with the second job. And she's like, where is it? I'm like, on Twitter. And she's like, all the time. And I'm like, I know. I'm ridiculous, but this is my life. And because, like, yeah, during the pandemic, we called each other every day because I live by myself. So, you know, I would have literally no human contact if she didn't call me. And, yeah, but it's a whole thing, but I want her to be on spaces so that we can talk about things that aren't, you know, complaining about my sister, you know, the usual.
I love it. Go ahead, Eddie.
I had my full, oh my gosh, I peopled way too much this weekend when my utilities were off. So like, so Thursday, I'm in a Twitter space, just chilling out, waiting patiently. It was a big space, and I was just trying to be patient and wait to share my turn. I hear a knock on the door, and nobody comes to my house. Nobody, ever. You know, so I go and answer the door, and it's the village utility company. He's like, Eddie, we're supposed to turn your utilities off. I said, okay. He says, oh, I'm so sorry. I just figured I'd tell you so you could have a chance to pay it. I was like, no, man, do your job. It's still in a Twitter space, keep in mind. So I was like, okay, this sucks. What am I going to do? Because I thought the utilities were taken care of from the assistance company. So I'm sitting in the kitchen, waiting to share, still waiting in Twitter space. Utilities go off, and I knocked on the door, told Malika, I said, yeah, you might want to get a hold of your grandparents. You might want to go stay there for a day or two, and I'll figure out what the fuck I need to do. So anyways, I'm sitting there. Not only does the power go out, then I get rugged out of the space off the speaker. So then I'm like, what the fuck? I waited this whole time and I could have called the utility company or called somebody to try to get shit straightened out. But no, I'm still trying to sell artwork. And I'm getting text messages from a friend from Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm like, oh my God, what's she want now? I'm trying to share artwork. So I got back on stage, told him, I was like, yep, I'm not having a good day. When I joke about my utilities being past due, yeah, it's no bullshit. They just cut my power and shit on my house. So, if you want to, retweet my stuff, that'd be great. And then I got out of the space and replied to the text message, and it was a friend from AA that, we hooked up back in the day, but nevertheless, she just broke up with her boyfriend, and one of the clients at the rehab facility she works at had overdosed and died, and his funeral was the next day, and she wasn't doing too well. And I said, well, my utilities just got cut off. She's like, well, just come stay with me. So I'm grateful for some of the things that, I'm grateful that I have utilities to be shut off, and I put that out on Twitter, and I put a post out. I know this is a me problem, not a you problem. So NFT community, if you could just retweet my shit, that'd be great, but I kind of fucked up and didn't adult well. But and I stayed with her. We went to the visitation the next day. There was standing room only. It was very beautiful for a visitation at a funeral. So many Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous members there to share the space, to show respect. Left there, went to an AA meeting. Left there, went and picked my friend's daughter up, brought her to the house. She went to change clothes in the bedroom, fell down, broke her ankle. We went to ER. So 1:40 in the morning, I'm driving back from ER, and I'm like, oh my God. So I've had to deal with people at a funeral, deal with people at an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, deal with ER and nurses and shit, and not smoking cigarettes, and I was just over. And that was one day. So, I've probably talked too long already, but that's just kind of some of the shit I was going through.
Getting it off your chest, Eddie. I think that was really healthy what you just did. So thank you for sharing. And there's something that I want to ask everybody in the space, if you would like to answer it. But before I ask it, I want to say hi to the photographer and Shelby that just came up to the panel. So hi, the photographer.
Hi, good morning, everybody, guys, girls, everything in between. We don't discriminate. It's actually 3:41 for me, so I set my alarm to try and be in your space. So if I fall asleep, it's on me, but I didn't want to miss it. So good morning, everybody.
You are such a sweetheart. Thank you so much. And honestly, do you prefer being called the photographer, or would you rather be called Stephen, or would you rather be called Scotland?
Zeller, you can call me whatever you wish. I don't mind.
Okay, Scotland. I think I'm going to go with Scotland. Anyway,
I like the photographer. I like that, and I just hit a follow because I was like, that's dedication to set an alarm to come into Zeller's space. So
I know. The photographer's so cool. You don't know him? Oh, he's from Scotland, guys. Scotland.
I don't know if we've spoke before, but I'm definitely following you now because I love Zellers, and I love the fact that you set an alarm to come to her space, and that shows a lot of dedication and support and love towards Zellers. So anybody that supports Scary, I support as well.
Oh, completely. I've known Zeller for a short time in my short time here, and I just love what she does. And I've popped you a follow back as well. I would love to try and pronounce your squiggly name, but I would murder it because I don't speak squiggles. So
It's Eddie. My name's Eddie.
All right, Eddie.
I put it in Persian for to support Iran and Masa Amini and all the atrocities that are going on over there. So I was just trying to reach out to the Iranian community. So I think outside the box. It was because of Zeller. She's like, "How can we be more supportive?" And then I got out of the space and I'm like, "Yeah, how can we be more supportive?" And I was like, Google Translate Persian. I don't know how to speak Persian, but I can translate it on Google. But sorry, yeah, that's me going on a rant again.
No, Eddie, that's cool. It's showing solidarity and showing support for people that might not have a voice. So yeah, I'm totally down for that. And in case I do fall asleep, I just want to give everyone a friendly reminder to touch some grass today, whether it's today or tomorrow. Just get in touch with nature.
Okay, so the photo grabber has told me to touch grass in other spaces, and I walk my dog at the park. We found a park that's close to my new place, and I think of you every single time. And I just love this because we haven't even met in person, but you already have an impact on my life. Like, that is so cool. And I take my shoes off. I actually was going to do a shout out film for you today, and I thought, my toenails are just not painted. I just can't do that to them. I was like, I at least have to paint my toenails if I'm going to be showing my feet in the grass. So, because I had texted him some images that I was doing it, and I'm like, those toenails are not painted. Anyway, and Shelby, how are you?
Doing really well. We just, see, how am I doing? I'm doing really well. Just been, working on the show release. We just got the show out the door, and made our first sale today. So pretty stoked about that. And can't really complain about life overall, given how much work's gone into getting to here. So yeah, no, I'm pretty happy today.
Congratulations! That is awesome because it's the first film on the blockchain, right?
This one's for it's for the first TV show on the blockchain. So
TV show, yeah, that's right.
We also actually have a feature film available, but I'm not promoting that at all because I've decided I can only promote one thing, and that was I wanted to make sure that technically could work, but I'm not going to be able to promote that project until I do way more work on Lost India. So Lost India is the only thing that exists.
Yeah, well, keep it focused because, you've got a full-on, I don't know, I just see you going really far in the space. So it's awesome what you're doing. And for everybody in the space, please put your project in the bubble in the bottom right. Please promote yourself. I'm all about that. Share your projects. And, I'm not like, hey, get everybody in here, but no, promote you as much as you can. The photo grabber.
Hey guys, I have a free mint available. I'm not trying to shill or anything, but it would be nice if someone got them. There's two available, so even if you want to sell one and get your gas back, it's really up on you.
DM me.
You can really tell it's in the bubble art. It's funny though, you can tell it's a bear market, right? Because I'm giving stuff away for free, and there's like 25 that's been collected in the space of like 2 weeks, and I'm like, right, okay. So I can tell that people are just really in it for themselves. But it's a nice way of just showing a bit of support. But I'm here to support everyone else. I don't normally show my own stuff. I actually don't think I ever talk about my own stuff. So feel free to just like grab two or take one, or just do whatever. Just do you. Just make sure you touch grass. That's all I want people to do.
And it 100% makes a difference when you touch grass. I even was on my all fours and my hands talking to my dog going, this is exactly what we needed. And it was we took a walk, and then I only did that for probably 5 minutes because I needed to go somewhere, and it made a difference. It literally makes a difference when you touch the earth. It's taking the time to touch it and be like, wow, this is the ground. Anyway, okay, so this is the question that I want to ask that I was presented with in another space, and I'm so curious what everybody's answer will be. So I'm going to try and pronounce this very clearly because it's an interesting one. So, would you rather live for 1 year every 10 years? Okay? Or would you rather live 10 years every century. Does that make sense? So you can only be alive for a year every 10 years. And then, or you can pick 10 years every century. So you would be, if you picked the 10 years, then it would be 90 years until you were alive again, and then you'd be 10 years again. So does that make sense? And does anybody want to answer that question?
Well, would I get to pick which part of the century? Because if I got to like pick which part of the century that I got to incarnate in, and like specifically like what part of the, if I got to pick like what part of the century and what part of the world, oh, give me the 10 years. I know exactly where I'd go and what I'd do. I could do that for a bunch of centuries because I've read a lot. But like, yeah. But then if I couldn't pick it, that would be harder. You know, then it's just a gamble. Then I don't. Am I in like France all of a sudden in like 11, 10, black? Can I skip the plague? Do I get to be there for the Renaissance?
Those are such good questions, and that's my answer was I pick 10 years every decade. And I don't pick 10 years now. I would pick 10 years, probably 10 years from now, because history tends to repeat itself every 100 years, or at least somewhat. And we're in like a kind of crisis right now, and it's been, 100 years. But whatever you pick, like let's just say you can pick the first decade, which is whatever. You can say 10 years from now, you can say now. It's whatever's going to happen in 90 years, but you come back. Do you know what I'm saying? So technology would be like rapid. So you're either you're picking like kind of a risk-taking thing, or you can be alive every year, every 10 years. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so I do have to roll the dice, and I don't necessarily get to like, do 1890 as well as 1960. Although I could do like 1890 and 1990. If I just like rolled the 90s weren't a lot throughout history. So there's a lot of good 90s, because especially in the we Westerners, we have these like philosophies that everybody's always trying to get to some point towards the end of a century. They think maybe Jesus is going to come or something. So they work really hard.
Well, and see, that's why I picked the 10 years, because it takes me maybe 2 to 3 years to finish a piece, and I'm not going to rush that. Now, if I only had a year, I feel like I would be rushing. Like, what can you accomplish in a year? What would you do in 1 year? Yeah,
I couldn't do the year. Then what am I, a butterfly? No, screw that. Like, no, 10 years, like minimum. Jesus, 10 years isn't even enough, but like, at least 10 years. I mean, and then what do I have to start as a baby? And then like, Jesus, very limited amount you can accomplish by 10, unless you're like, like baby Mozart or whatever.
I'm assuming you're like a cicada vampire. Okay, so if I'm like a cicada vampire that like, I'm only alive during a certain period and I go back underground, yeah, I would choose for 10 years, because that's like enough time to like get a handle on things, fall in love, do whatever. And then after a decade, it'd be like, peace out, y'all. And so you're not like doing like all the risky, because for like 1 year, you're like partying super hard and then you have to go back. But like, for 10 years, you have enough time to establish yourself and then get back.
Yeah, totally. It would be a constant existential crisis for me if it was like every year and then like 10 years went by and it's like, oh, they're all older, but you're the same age forever. And I couldn't do that one. That would be too much. But like, if it's like, oh, I'll see you in 10 years, you'll be older and I'll be the same age, it's a little more tolerable. I mean, everyone would still always be upset at me until they, staked me or whatever in whichever century. But still, I could personally tolerate the decade more than because what do you even do? Geez, I can't think of none of the things that I've done that I like look back on as like, yeah, I did that. None of them took me 1 year. They all took me more than a year. All of them. So
I totally missed the whole scenario because the photographer threw up this picture of a free mint with a mirror and an eye, and Trilana came up and she knows how much I love eyes. So, like, I missed the whole thing because I'm like, I'm minting two, and then I dropped it into a group chat. Like, this guy set his alarm to come to Zeller's space. He's a sweetheart. So hopefully you'll get some more followers and some more free mints minted for you.
You're so awesome, Eddie. I'm so sorry, Shelby. I just want to say goodnight to some people here that I happen to know, and nice to meet you. Nice now next time I could say goodnight to you too, because I'll know you by then, or something like that. But yeah, my brain just went like it just exploded, trying to figure out. I'm just like, what? No, can I just get away from here altogether and send me somewhere else? I don't want to even think about such things. What? Are you trying to blow my last brain neuron or whatever's going on in there? Seriously? Like, I got stuff to do.
I honestly, I thought of you and I was like, oh, I would love to know what Trilana thinks.
Are you kidding? Because when I was at the table, we were not talking about it another second. Please don't make me even go there. Can we talk about something that is like, yep, you can choose 10 years, or, you could leave right now.
I was seeing like X plus Y equals Z when Zellers was talking. I'm like, oh my god, I got two brain cells and they chase each other all day long. What the fuck is Zellers talking about?
What the hell? And I've been here the whole time. I'm like, wait, did we just make a hard left? Did we just fall off the cliff? I'm not sure what just happened here, and I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Well, I'm not going to bed. I'm going to try and relax a little. Bob's Burgers, hopefully. We'll see. Something not disturbing to my psyche, for God's sake. Yeah, I need, to relax a little.
Just so you know, I was on a speaker panel, and I was asked that question. And it was hilarious.
What kind of question is that?
Oh, I loved it. I am so into that kind of stuff, so that's why I wanted to share it. You don't even worry about it. I do want to know what Art thinks, but you might have to suffer through that, Trilana.
No, I'm going. I just wanted to say hello and goodbye. Nice to see you, Matthew. Nice to see you, Eddie. Zeller, always a pleasure. Art.
Trilana, hey, when Hebrew.
I thought this weekend you're gonna have to just let me know when, because I'm just trying to.
Did you talk to your mom to see if it translated well?
I didn't do any. So there's a lot of holidays once the new year comes in. It's so there's a holiday right now, so I can't talk to her. I have to wait. I think until tomorrow night or something.
That's okay. I didn't know. I was just trying to reach out to you while you was in the space to remind you.
Yeah, no problem at all. But yes, I thought this weekend, so here's the thing. So I was sick all weekend with stupid migraine. So I'm trying to just take it easy and not because I can, I could go off on a tangent, as you all know. Yeah. But I don't want to do that. So anyway, yes, I think it's a fascinating question, but I cannot even fathom.
Oh no, I've traumatized you for the night. I feel awful. You don't want to talk about it, but then you keep going back to it.
Here I go.
Is this gonna haunt me?
No, I'm gonna make it all good. But I just want to say it's so nice to see so many people that I really love in one space. So it's just how could you not come up? So I really just came up to say hello. And yeah, I'm gonna try and relax. I'm gonna do the foam roller. Get the kinks out of my upper back, breathe. And I will say that I did have a chance to spend time with Mona, the golf course cat. She's 15. It was my shift around 8:39ish. I stayed for a half hour, so I'm quite relaxed actually. So yeah, you just threw me for a loop. I was like, wait, what? What just happened? But anyway, have a great night, guys. Don't forget the water, foe. I was saying, I'm go to sleep. I said that out loud in my place alone, talking to my phone. To the foe. The foe. Noodles, that's my nickname for him. Scott,
I've been asleep though, Trelana, and I woke up especially for Zeller just because I didn't want to miss her space. But
I heard that. You're such a lovely, lovely man of the world, a prince among men. It's so rare to say it. I like it. This is the royal space. So I will leave you to it.
Do you wanna hear a poem before you take off to bed?
Oh yeah, please. That'd be great.
Okay, so I got one here, like usual. Okay. This is called Don't Buy Flowers for Me. I dated a girl who said, "Don't buy flowers for me." She went on to explain, "It's a waste of money." She wasn't aware sometimes I want to buy the flowers for me. The reason I don't is because of our society. A man buying flowers takes away his masculinity. So upon my journey home, after work the next day, I stopped the car along the way. I was picking the flowers that were growing for free. Upon my arrival, her face filled with glee. We both got what we wanted, and I didn't lose my masculinity. Boom.
You're so good. So good.
Let's go. That was one of your best, Eddie. I loved that one. When did you write that piece?
4 or 5 days ago.
Oh, it's new.
Yeah, that's like one of the newest ones that I wrote, and it was actually based off of like an actual conversation I had with a girl I was dating. She got like mad at me. She's like, "Do not buy me flowers," and I'm like, "Oh my god, really?" She's like, "No, dude, it's throwing away money. Don't buy me flowers. They're just gonna die. Don't spend the money on flowers." And I'm like, she's all like salty and shit, and I'm all like in my feelings, like, well, fuck, I want to buy flowers. This is some bullshit. So like, I went to my factory job, and on my way home, I'm like, fuck that. I'm gonna go pick fucking wildflowers, and she can't say shit because I didn't technically buy her flowers. And yeah, she lit up when I brought a whole bouquet of wildflowers home. So I was like, haha, I didn't buy flowers. And of course I was smirking at her like, haha, I tricked you.
Funny. That's funny. That's great.
We can switch it, Trilana, and ask them the most romantic thing they've ever done for a woman.
Oh yes, do that, please.
That's a good one, because we have good men in here.
Hard right. I'll take that.
Here we go. Okay, I'm bringing it back around. The photographer is going first.
So my partner at the time was going through some rough times. She was on meds and stuff and trying to get herself back realigned from a messy divorce that she was going through. Now, I'm shit at buying gifts, I'm not going to lie. Like, I think that things are cool for someone, and it really turns out that they don't like it, and it was really secretly me that liked it, so it's like the worst thing that I could do. So I just said, right, pack a bag, get ready. I booked a hotel up in the Scotland Highlands and asked them to put flower petals on the bed and put a little card saying that you're the best ever, I'll do everything for you. And took her on a massive road trip around Scotland, and like took her to Inverness and took her to see like this royal ballet, took her to see like loads of art galleries and stuff. And absolutely over the weekend she didn't even realize what was going on. I just said we're going for a drive, and she ended up like it was the best experience that she'd ever had. It was like one of those things. The funny thing is though, when we got to the hotel, there was no petals on the bed, there was no sort of card to say thank you or anything like that. But after we got back from the Royal Theatre and the ballet and stuff like that, all the flower petals are on the bed, and she just looked at me, she just started crying. She's like, "This is the best day I've ever had in my life, thank you very much." And then the next morning we drove like away out to the west coast, and we sat out and watched loads of seagulls and lots like just took in the sights of Scotland, because it's a beautiful country. If you ever get a chance to go to Scotland, do, because it's beautiful. And just she was so stressed and so like going through a tough time, and then when we got back to the hotel for the night before going back home, she's like sobbing with tears, and I'm like, oh fuck, what have I done? I've done something. Like, what have I done? I don't like the idea that she's crying. She's like, this is really the best, most thoughtful gift that you've ever given me. Your gifts are normally shit, but this thing is the best experience I've ever had. And then on the journey back down the road the next day, she's like, you could tell with the sparkle in your eyes that she was like so happy. So that was my most romantic thing that I've ever done.
That is going to be tough to top, guys.
Sorry, guys.
That's very sweet. I was just like, oh, what? Oh, I have like the whole, it's like a film in my head. Very nice. I can just imagine the scenery. Yeah, it's a small world, after all. We could all go to Scotland. Look how we're talking now. Who knows what could happen next?
I'm definitely visiting him in Scotland at some point.
Totally, right? I'm like, what?
Well, I've never been there, and yeah, absolutely. And Eddie, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm a recovering alcoholic. I go to Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. So I took my girlfriend to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. And it was on February 13th, and they were having a Valentine's dance. And after AA meetings, they ask if anybody has any other comments. I raised my hand. I said, my name's Eddie. I'm an alcoholic. And I got down on one knee, and I proposed to my 7-month pregnant girlfriend in front of like 40 people at an AA Valentine's Day dance with my family there. So I don't know if that's the most romantic thing I've done, but that's one of the things that popped into my head. And
boom! Yeah. Isn't that what
I love it. These are fantastic stories that I love hearing.
Young men are in the space. Don't tell
I know,
me.
these are real men, like big time.
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to say to the photo grabber before we go to Eddie's is I love that you gave her an experience that she can remember, because that is really, really valuable. I love it when I've been surprised by an experience. That has been something that has stayed with me with partners that I've had, when they've done something that you just never could even imagine it, you know? So, and just with like you, Eddie, I mean, that's how amazing. If I was in the room, I'm sure there was tears everywhere. And yeah, these are great stories. Go ahead, Srilana.
Oh no, I just want to hear more.
I know.
And 1 year or 10 years, blow your brains up. I don't even know.
Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up, girl. You've got to stop. I'm trying to heal you, man.
Thank you, girl.
I'm trying to heal you. Let's go to Matthew. Maybe Matthew's got some. What do you got, Matthew?
Well, one, I do love Scotland, and I did do some work there in the late 90s. I think I was there at least twice, and I was in the UK many times. But yeah, Scotland, I drank a shitload of whiskey one time when I was like 14, and I couldn't even smell the stuff for like years or decades. But in Scotland, I did get addicted to the high-end whiskey, like the 28 to 33-year-olds. I was buying some of the exclusive bottles and stuff like that, and sipping whiskey. I didn't chug it like when I was stupid and younger. But yeah, Scotland's beautiful. I really love Scotland, and I've got my stepfather had a lot of Scottish in him, and I know I've got some English, Irish, Scottish blood in me, along with some German blood as well. So yeah, Scotland is amazing. So we could actually do an NFT party over in Scotland, Zeller, and whoever wants to go, and we can organize that maybe for next year sometime. Because we are going to be successful. We are going to make a lot of money and stuff like that. So yeah, I was sorting through some of my photos. I'm going to post some photos and stuff. So as far as the romantic thing, it's 5 a.m. here. I've been up since 2 a.m. I can't really think about anything romantic, but I'm sure I've done it. But yeah, so let me think if I think of that. And Trilana, yeah, get some sleep, rest, relax, take care of yourself, and we'll see you in some spaces.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. It's nice to talk to you. I'm glad that you're doing okay. I saw you in some marathon space. I'm like, he's nuts.
Yes, I've been nuts for decades, and it took me decades and decades of studying way too much to become nuts. So I'm actually crazy many times over.
I believe it, man. Me too. Oh, man. Yeah, I gotta go. But this was great. Way amazing. I'm so glad I shared what I was feeling, because this is what happens when I
Oh, I think it's great you shared it. And now you can go to bed thinking about these romantic things that
Oh my God,
men did.
Wait, I'm gonna have real sweet dreams. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yay, give me hope for men in the future. Is that a thing? Do people have men?
It is a thing. It is. I think it's been a little bit of a hiatus because this is the first time in my life that I have been single. I've been single for 3 years.
Oh my God.
First time in my life.
Forever, way more than 3
years. It doesn't even, it doesn't matter at all, but I've just been really isolated since COVID because it's just been a constant survival situation that I'm like, whoa, I haven't, been around people, you know?
Zellers. High five, Dave. High five,
Amy. It's Amy.
Oh, Amy, hands up in this group. Okay.
So,
raising her hand. That's great.
You
Thank
know,
Amy, for raising
just
her hand.
like I don't approve of men in spaces just asking women things, I think we should open up the floor to other people doing other romantic things for whatever gender they're doing. Also, I don't have a good story for this, but one of the more thoughtful gifts I've ever done was my friend was like, I just want a bread knife. And I know that she loves My Hero Academia, so I got her a custom engraved bread knife. And she loves it. She calls it her knife husband. She carries it around with her. She talks about it all the time. So much goodwill with this knife. And so
Awesome. It's the simple things. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
you said My Hero Academia, and I heard Malachi shutting the doors in the kitchen. So I'm glad you didn't say it real loud because he'd be up here in my bedroom going, "What? What are you talking about in Twitter Spaces?"
So cute. Aw. Well, all right, I'm gonna go. I just hit a wall. I'm so tired suddenly. That was great. Thanks, guys.
Good night, Trilana. Thank you for coming by. That was awesome. And always share your feelings with me. Always. 100%. That was awesome. And I wonder what Shelby has. Does Shelby have a story? I can think of a story. I mean, Art came up with a good story, too. You're competing with a bread knife here.
So let's see. Probably the most romantic would be Mila, my. Well, I guess we're still dating. She's just off in Mexico right now, but when she's planning on coming back shortly. But when we first met, we just sort of ran off to Costa Rica together for 3 months. We just decided screw the United States, we're out of here, and went off on a romantic adventure to Costa Rica for 3 months. And then I came back, and she ended up staying in Costa Rica for a little while longer, and then came back up, and then she was like, I hate the U.S. Actually, after that, I'm gonna go to Mexico. So she's down in Mexico right now. But we're still, romantically entangled, shall we say, when we're when we're hanging out. But she's in Mexico and I'm in Colorado, so separated by a little bit of space at the moment. But isn't that the essence of romance, right?
It is. Distance makes the heart grow fonder. We do know this. How long have you guys been together?
We've had our little off periods, but over a year and a half, I'd say. I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to do the math on that one. This is she's coming back to visit in I don't know, I'm not exactly sure when, but in the next couple weeks, and it's oh, that's funny. That's right when you got back from Costa Rica last time. But yeah, no, let's see, a year and a half, I'd say, 2 years? Something like that. So a long, probably one of my longer term relationships in life. But yeah.
I can only really make a year, so let's just let everybody take notes on that. It's about a year, and then I'm done.
I'm why are you still calling me? I'm an insane filmmaker who married to my work. Do you still want to hang out with me? You're gonna come? Okay. I'm down. I'm not.
I hear you, Shelby. I hear you. No, it's I went through this period where literally I couldn't even make a year with a relationship, and Yeah, it's interesting. And even my ex-boyfriend, it was always off and on and off and on. Like, I could never do something. I have yet to do something like solid years, you know?
Well, it's
just to let everybody know that.
right. Just heads up. I mean, I know for myself, it's like I was just talking to somebody earlier today about, you know, like, they were like, well, are you married? And I'm like, no, I mean, like, I go to other countries and make movies, and you know, when I get back, like, the girl that I was dating is often not dating me anymore.
I mean, the marriage thing, I am the queen, let me tell you, of people. So I'm 44, so you have to understand, I still lived in an era where they pressured you to get married. I mean, seriously, I mean, I felt pressured to get married when I was 24 and when I was 28, and I didn't want to. I wasn't in love with them, and it made me, I felt suffocated. I was like, these people are going to push me into something that I don't want, but it was so scary because I was young, and I'm like, maybe I am missing out on this amazing man with a ton of money who's got a great career. I mean, they were all like all-American men too, and it's like, that's great, but I'm not in love with this dude. Like, that's great that he's perfect.
Now that Trelana's gone, I can tell you that, like, my first marriage that I proposed at, yeah, it didn't even make it a year on paper.
Well, and I mean,
that's okay.
It's still romantic, but I mean, in real life, like, I mean, I don't know, like, for me, with you know, having like a very driven like mind about like the work that I want to do, it's very hard in the modern world to balance like having a relationship and actually getting any shit done, and not just getting sort of choked into the corporate system. Like, there's a bunch of ways I could be like making money right now to support a family, but like if I was doing that, I could definitely not be doing what I'm doing. There'd be no way. And like I've dedicated the last several years of my life to this because I truly believe in my work. And so that's definitely, you know, I think for a lot of people who are you know, driven in any sort of way, you know, a complicating factor. And I think probably for women, it's probably more of a complicating factor than for men, because you guys are like, okay, now just put your life aside and, you know, raise the kids while you watch this guy have a career and you support him. Come on, support him and cook the food. Why isn't the laundry done? and I mean, but on the opposite side, you know, like, the guy doesn't get to be Peter Pan very much anymore either. And, you know, has to go put on the suit and tie and be some bullshit provider, whatever, you know, stuff that I don't necessarily think is, it's not conducive to, like, the lifestyle I would like to live, or, like, the things I'd like to do in my life. So I mean, that's definitely, you know, you want to talk romance, it's a complicating factor in the modern world. I mean, because you're, you know, there isn't, you know, it's not like you can go buy a house for $30,000 and then, I don't know, like, go farming behind it while you're, like, working your two jobs that pay you reasonably. Like, it's just, they, you know, Amazon ate that world. So if we're wondering why we're doing Web 3, because Web 2 really fucked everything up.
I paid $35,000 for my house, and my son's lived with me since he was 2, so for the last 15 years, and I'm still waiting for my sugar mama to come, like, take care of me with the finances so that I can cook and clean and do all the good stuff.
I actually think, Eddie, you are going to get a sugar mama. I think you are naturally, because I can see you being so, like, great at being, like, the personable person and the caretaker or whatever. Like,
oh, it totally fucked up my last long-term girlfriend, because, like, she had 2 daughters and I had a son, and we was all living together, and she'd go to work and she'd come home and everything was done, and she's like, what are we having for supper? I said, oh, it's in the microwave. You know, like, you can heat it up, but, like, yeah, it's already been cooked. The kids have been fed. Their homework's done. Malachi's in his room. You know, the girls are in their room. The laundry's done. There's a bath ran in the master bathroom, and I'm going to go for a walk. And she, like, I started to go for my walk to Woosah and listen to my music, and she's, like, texting me, like, I don't feel like I have any purpose here.
I absolutely love it. I can 100% see you being super good at all that, which I'm kind of the opposite. I still have a hard time cooking.
I mean, I'm not doing it
That's
so well.
ridiculous.
It's 2 boys in the house now, so like, if we want to do laundry, it's when we run out of like clean clothes. But like, but when me and her was dating, like, she was like, I feel like I don't, provide for the like family. I'm like, you're working, honey. She's like, yeah, but you cooked and you cleaned and you did the laundry and. I was like, I was a fully functioning adult before you came along. I mean, my kid lived with me full time. It's not like I didn't know how to like do all this shit before you showed up. It's not like I needed you to come show up. You're just adding to it.
Yeah, Mike probably definitely not doing any of the cooking and cleaning. He's like, fuck that. Are you kidding me? You go fuck. Like, you can cook, and I'll be like, okay, well, I'll make some pasta, or like we can go out. Because like. I don't know, like, yeah, we're both kind of anarchists who don't really adhere to, like, normal philosophy.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I honestly, when I make this statement, honestly, I almost want to, like, punch myself in the face, because it sounds so, I don't know, I'm just going to say it anyway, but sometimes I feel like eating is such an inconvenience. Like, shit, I'm hungry again. Like, I don't have anything in my fridge. Like, what the fuck? I don't have any money to get food. Like, I don't want to eat, you know? And I think, how ridiculous am I when I'm in the 1% that can eat, and all these people around the world are starving, and I'm saying it's an inconvenience? Right?
Zeller,
Slap me in the face. Slap me in the face.
I'm worse than you, because I order from Amazon Fresh because I live in a food desert. So I don't want to spend like an hour with a push cart going to the grocery store. So I order it. And I put in the instructions, like, don't come to my door, just leave it with the concierge. And they've been ignoring that. And this last time, they randomly gave me an extra, well, like, they gave me like a pound of carrots. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do with a pound of carrots? So, like, it's free because they accidentally gave it to me, but now I'm just like stressing about like, how am I gonna consume these, like, with what? So I think I'm gonna buy like bistro salads that have ranch, because I usually use honey mustard, and just use the ranch dressing that comes from that to consume this pound of carrots that I didn't want or need.
I can't believe I don't live close to you, because I would be eating your carrots.
Yeah, I like those carrots. When you were like, and then the ranch dressing, and I'm like, oh, and the ranch dressing? Oh, yeah, no, like, yeah, I could get down on that right now.
I was like, I have some peanut butter. I don't know if it's good anymore, but I guess. I mean, I could just eat carrots. It's not like the worst thing in the world. They taste okay. It's just not my habit.
Yeah. Carrots and peanut butter is legitimate.
I was gonna say, put them in a foil pouch, and cut up some potatoes, and put butter and seasoning in it, and then bake it in the oven, because like, that'll be bomb. I mean,
so I have to buy potatoes because they gave me free carrots? Like, come on. This is bullshit.
God, I forgot. Yeah, if you don't have potatoes, yeah, you're not gonna be cooking them with the carrots.
Yeah, I mean, I have margarine. I could take out my Instant Pot and some of my frozen salmon and just make it into a legitimate meal, but we're not going to do that because my house is hoarded and it's not safe to cook in my kitchen.
Dude, we all have the craziest lives. I love it. We're just like, oh man, I'm like, I can't eat. It's just too much of an inconvenience. And Amy's just like, I have too many carrots. Like, what am I going to do with these carrots?
I think the like inconvenience of eating thing, like, I often will get that way where I'll be like manically working, and then I'll be like, oh shit, I have to eat, because it's like, well, like, it's only like 9, you know, like, I could go get some food, like, down, you know, give me like another 10 minutes, and like 3 hours later, it's like, there's nowhere that has food. Okay, I could go home and cook. I'll go home and cook it. Well, let me just get back to work for a moment. I'll do that sometimes, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, man, you gotta balance. but that's, again, to that point of, like, you know, overworking oneself in the modern world. I think that there's a really big competitive problem that's at the core philosophy of Western society that encourages this, like, competitive behavior, at the end of which is, like, you know, essentially, like, this, like, infinitely hard uphill battle if you want to do, like, anything real, and aren't already, like, completely hooked up and networked into like the pre-existing power structures, and they're all like, dope, bro. But say you'd like to be mildly independent in real life, for the most part, that is just all of the systems are designed to make that a serious pain in the ass. You can do it. It will be difficult. It might break you if you survive. Congratulations, you're one of the heroes of capitalism.
I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a different branch here, but I wanted to give a shout out to Doc because she picked up 3 of my depression writing poems when she heard that I was struggling, and there were several people in the community that picked up NFTs from me to help me and Malachi out, and I just wanted to kind of throw some flowers out and just say that Doc she surprised me because she picked up 3, and I'm like, flip them, and she's like, no, I'm gonna give them away. I was like, I should have known better, but it's just one of my friends, Sigma X, he bought one, and then he bought one of my Tezos pieces that was listed on secondary for 3 Tez, and it was there were still editions left at half a Tez, and they picked up one for 3 Tez, and Johnny O picked up one of my Tez pieces just to kind of give me some support, and just so many people reached out, and I'm just grateful for the NFT community. I was quitting NFTs earlier. I was bitching fuck this, got all these fucking bills, I quit, I'm just gonna get a factory job and not fucking do NFTs no more. And then I was like, oh wait, I got enough money to catch up on a couple of these bills. Maybe I should just do that and maybe not go put myself in the same industry I got PTSD from writing the depression writing. The universe still works in mysterious ways, but it's funny how it aligns just perfectly sometimes.
I just want to build off of that, Eddie, because Doc helped me with NFTs. So when I was in California, I had to pay first, last, all this stuff. Basically my $4,000 was gone. And I'm like, okay, how am I going to get to Arizona? And Doc bought 6 NFTs, and I was able to get gas to get to Arizona, and now I'm here. And it's okay, so what's the next step? But the community and the artist support my entire life. It's always been artists who have supported me, and that's why I'm an advocate for supporting artists in the space.
Oh, and Dollars, I hate to interrupt, but I wanted to tell you, since you're in Tucson, Arizona, Mary Ann Chisholm and her husband Mark are both in Tucson as well, and I reached out and was talking with them on the phone, and I said, you might want to follow Carrie Zellers, and if you guys are in the same area or neighborhood, you might be able to talk and connect with one another. And I said she's in Arizona and knows no fucking body there, so if you guys could reach out, that'd be great. So Marianne went and looked. She's like, send me her at. So I sent it to her, and she's like, oh, we're following each other. I said, okay. So I just wanted to let you know I was speaking to her about you, and I was speaking to her about Matthew, because Matthew, I wasn't trying to tell your whole story, but I was like, yeah, Matthew's gone through some tough times with some people in the community that weren't who they said they were. And Marianne was speaking very highly of you too, Matthew. She's like, he's came into our space. I was like, I know, but he's not came in for a little bit because he's kind of been on a hiatus. So if you see him pop into a space, you might just shoot him a message or give him some love. So I keep trying to reach out and connect people and make sure that everybody gets to connect and share love in the space. And I see Mirror, and I see Shazray down there. I see Angel Artist and Collector. I see some more people and friends in the space. So I just wanted to shout out a few people I knew in the space.
Awesome. Yeah, I love Marianne. And yeah, literally, I had hundreds of thousands of dollars to start this year. And I said I was going to buy all this crypto. I had a plan for it, and the plan didn't work. And then the crypto crash came. I literally kept my word as much as I could. And now I'm in a position where I actually have to earn money. So, I was fine, but I got addicted to helping artists, and that's who I am. That's my story.
500 NFTs times 0.02 equals 10 Ethereum. Let's go. Secondary sales.
Yeah, one of my NFTs, the highest priced one I paid was 1 ETH, and it was for Native American cause, because Native Americans are getting killed, and they're not, women are getting abducted and kidnapped and killed, and they're not talking about it in the mainstream news in America. So I'm a very big women's rights advocate, Native American rights, and just poor people in general, indigenous people, and stuff like that. And yeah, so anyway, and Zeller, I love Zeller as well, and I know she didn't like rich people. And oh shit, well, if I give all away my money, then maybe I got a chance of dating her. And so there you go, Zeller. Now I'm not rich anymore, and I own some properties over here and stuff, and I can earn a shitload of money. But, so yeah, have your people contact my people, and we can do a virtual date, and we'll make it really romantic, and then I'll have a really romantic story I can tell in the next space in the future.
Man, I'm not telling Riyadh this story because he's going to get mad at me for being in the space.
Okay, so it's totally true, and I wasn't able to say anything to you because you were so bummed when everything happened, but I was like, dude, he doesn't have all that money now. That's so much better. I'm like totally the opposite of everybody. I'm like, oh, you have money? Get away from me. You don't know anything. You have money.
But my food stamp card to Super Rare did not do the trick, Matthew, so you got to fine line to balance there. You can't be on food stamps, but you can't be rich either.
Yeah, luckily I have my own food. I mean, I've got plums here, I've got apples, I've got some other things, and
do you have carrots?
I don't have carrots, but I have a lot of mushrooms because the forest. I mean, they have forest food here.
Are they still a Cybin?
Not yet. No. When I'm in a foreign country and I don't have a lot of friends and family who can bail me out of jail and shit like that, I really don't press certain issues. So yeah, I've not done psilocybin. I've actually had people offer it in the last 6 years, but I've not tripped on it here. And to me, it is one of the most spiritual drugs. I mean, yeah, you can use it for recreational purposes, but psilocybin is good for people with depression and stuff like that. And even I've heard that LSD is actually good for people who have schizophrenia. So this isn't medical advice or anything like that, but if you have some issues, psilocybin is something to look into. I know it's legal in Colorado for therapy, and I am a big fan of plant medicine.
Yeah, I happen to have some of those kicking about because we're allowed to.
Shelby, where are you in Colorado?
I live in Boulder.
Okay, so my sister lives in Lafayette.
Oh, no.
And yeah, right. And so I go there probably once every 2 years to see my nephew Garrett, and it's time for me to go to Colorado. So the fact that you're so close, I'd love to meet up if you happen to be there.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I think I might be going east for Thanksgiving to visit folks, but I don't know. But I'm usually here, unless I'm off in India or unless things really change. But yeah, it's my film studio and everything.
That's so cool because my sister, she went to University of Boulder, and then she lived in Boulder. I mean, her whole life has been there. So and my nephew's 17, so I've got to go see him this year sometime. So whenever it is. But I love that we at some point are all going to see each other in real life, and it's going to be so incredible. I don't even know what to do. I feel like I'm going to just what's Amy going to do? And I just jump on her and tackle her, and I'm like, Amy, what are you going to do?
Have you ever seen a turtle just go inside their shell? Just like that, but in human form. I don't really. Okay, so I was looking for a new job, and I was growing stuff in the background, and people kept saying stuff. They're like, "Are you growing weed?" And I'm like, "It's not weed. It's Molochia." And they're like, "What the hell is Molochia? Please stop lying to us, and please stop having weed in the background when you're trying to have a job." I'm like, "No, it's Egyptian spinach, and it gets 6 feet tall, and I'm just growing it in my living room because I don't have an outside. I live in a condo." And they're like, "We still don't believe you. Please stop growing weed."
See, and I thought the heat lamps were for weed, so that clears that up.
No, people are just like, "What's that large leafy plant in your house? It has to be weed. That's the only plant you can possibly want to be growing in your house."
Well, that's the only plant they want to be growing in the house, so they're super jealous. That's why they're telling you not to do it, because they got to go out in the woods and find it. I talk about an awful lot of drugs for being a recovering drug addict.
You've got the knowledge. So, Art, would you ever come to Arizona, or am I going to have to go to DC? Is it going? It's going to be me that has to go to you and then scare you into your shell. And
are you down in Tucson?
Yeah, I'm in Tucson.
Okay, I used to gem show every year for a while there. I was like big into that game for a moment in space time.
Shelby, I just saw a sign today that said the Gem Show. And I thought, oh my gosh, the Gem Show. And this is what you're talking about?
Made me a lot of money.
I bet it did. So wait, what would you do? What, like you had...
The same concept as this, only with rocks. But, you know, I mean, like, it's like essentially, I mean, the essence of the ancient gem trade is like, I mean, we're doing like the digital version of it. And like the question is like, what's the quartz and what's the diamonds and what's the, you know, and you know, but I mean, I used to make and sell sculptures that were like resin sculptures that did like energy stuff, and I would sell scarves and all sorts of gems and minerals. And that was really good money and a lot of fun. But then I stopped doing that to make this show because I wanted to get back into filmmaking. I'd taken a break to do that because like working in industry overall in the film industry is like soul sucking and is not necessarily fun because you're like very rarely doing what you want to be doing, and even more rarely like actually furthering your career in like a meaningful way if you're trying to like, well, I mean, I don't know, depending on what you're trying to do, but I wanted to you know, just like direct, and so you know directing is just directing. You don't there's not like a, I mean, it's not my first film, but I took a break from directing and then decided to get back into it with this project, and then took a break from that world. But the crossover between like, you know, that world and what we're doing is kind of infinite. It's just like this is much more digital, but there really isn't that much difference between sort of like the fine art and the gem and mineral world, or the silk trade or any of that. You know, it's like very, very similar. It's just like we're creating something that's, you know, has that type of value, but digitally, or at least we're attempting to. Some of the projects do, and so that's because I mean, which hasn't really been a thing. People have been talking about it for years. You know, definitely there's some conversations within the Gem Show about like this type of, you know, utilization of stuff, but like we didn't like talk specifically about NFTs, but there's lots of conversations about like things that were like NFTs, like the idea of something like that, because it's so, you know, this is like, I feel like a natural offshoot of both like that world, the art world, and the technical world coming together in this hopefully beautiful Renaissance marriage that doesn't lead to like too many more Elon Musks or Jeff Bezoses. Come on, guys, let's keep it democratic.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to pull through. I do. There's days where I do have some doubt sometimes, but that's because it's so difficult right now, and we're in a bear market. So, but well, I'm in.
I think one of the big problems that we have, so like, okay, so like within the Gem Show scene, like if it's all well and good when we're selling rocks to each other, that's why we have the Gem Show, but we only have the Gem Show like once a year in Tucson, you know, once in Denver, and then there's Quartzsite, and that's kind of it, you know, because the rest of the year we sell to the public, you know, the people who don't have rocks, because like you want to sell to the people who don't have rocks, right? Like, because you've got rocks, sweet rocks, awesome, dope. I've got some too, but like if we're just like trading rocks, you know, I don't know, that may be a little bit too internal. You might want to like call some people who have like things that aren't rocks, like at least trade for a sandwich, you know. And so I mean that, you know, and so like I think like a part of our bear market issue is, okay, if you look at Apple, like the Apple computer was not, we like none of this technology that we have right now was like some sort of inevitable consequence of anything. Like
literally a marketing campaign mixed with like some really good formatting that allowed for us to have all of this, because like otherwise, like there's like most of the other universes compute, like the personal computer is like a hobby shop thing. We're living in one of the few universes that has like the personal computer as like not a hobby shop toy, because that's like what it would have been had it not been for like some reworking of like formatting on how to like user interface the technology with like the average person, and and like marketing it in a way that like can get it into the hands of like some average people. And I think like right now, there's a little bit of a blockage where okay, I mean, a bunch of the people from within the NFT community have left, and like how do we onboard millions and millions of people who are not from the NFT community? Because I mean, people might complain about like the market dropping 94%, but literally like okay, so there is this tiny percentage of people who are engaging in the space right now, and like that percentage of people will probably either cause it to fail or succeed. Like, and it's not going to be the Bored Apes collection, I don't think. With all of their blue chip clout, I doubt that they have the ability to like onboard more people to NFTs in a significant way than they've already done. Most of the people who don't have NFTs don't want a Bored Ape. And so it's like how do we make how do we make this a much more accessible technology than it currently is? Because like right now, most of the people, like there's people that I know who are friends of mine and family who would love to buy my NFTs for my show, and like if I tell them to go on Rarible and get Matic and use their oh my god, no, my mother won't. It's not that she won't do that under any circumstances. My own mother will not buy my NFTs, not just because it's confusing and obnoxious, but like because like she would know the amount of difficulty. And so I mean, and there's like easy way, so you can have a PayPal link so that my mom. I'm gonna have a PayPal link so that my mom, not my mom specifically.
Oh no,
Oh, shit,
Shelby.
I got rugged. Come back, Shelby.
Oh, you gotta come back, Shelby. Maybe drop down and come back. I mean, that was like the peak, you guys. So I'll DM him right now. And he had such a really great point.
I was like, I thought I got rugged because I'm having to go mobile so I can get some cigarettes. But like, I started to drive Malachi's car and then Shelby stopped talking. I was like, oh shit, did I get rugged?
There's two types of people in this world. Those that assume that other people rugged, and those that assume they themselves rugged.
Wait, what should I say? Should I say everyone is on edge?
I think that was a shot at me.
What?
No, I've thought that before, where it's just like, oh shit, it's me. And like every time. And then it's like, some people, it's like, if you lose something, did someone steal it or did you lose it? Like, how do you, like, what is your first reaction to these things?
Okay, wait, say it one more time.
So there's two types of people in the room. Those that assume that you have rugged, and those that assume that they themselves have rugged.
I always assume that I always see, I don't think it's me. Like, that's not my first reaction. But is that a bad thing?
I'm going to be like quiet for like 5 minutes, so I'm going to run in here and get some tobacco, and I will be back. But I seen Pixie came up, and I can't wait to hear from Pixie. And there's another Doc in the room.
I know. I wanted to say hi to Doc because Doc's been on the speaker panel for a while, and then go to Pixie. What's up, Doc? Are you there? I really like your PFP. Okay. And Pixie, are you there?
Oh, I'm here, listening. Amy, you should just make cake with the carrots. And I was at this year's the Gem Show here in Denver, because I'm also in Denver with Shel. You know, he's in Boulder, but I'm in Denver, and I totally get it about the person who loves the art. Like, Amy's gonna teach me how to create, how to create the NFT, because I make the art, but I don't know how to create the NFT, and I don't know how to buy them. So Amy's gonna do that, and I just came up here to throw roses at Amy for what she's doing with her art inspired by banned books, and that I hope that the gallery launch was doing well. I hope that you're doing well, Amy, and I love you, and I'm sorry that I didn't send you the description for my art that I sent you, and that I'm a bad friend, but I still love you, and I still just, what you're doing with the art by inspired by banned books is just amazing, and the charity that you're giving to, and everything that you're doing, Amy, and I hope you find a really good job, because you deserve it. Sorry.
Thank you. It went well. I have the charity collection. It's available on my website, bandbooks.art. 0 of them have sold, but I did sell 1 NFT this weekend, so there's that. And there's a special bonus that if you buy the number 1, it kind of got messed up when it went to go minting, so I will airdrop you another one that it was supposed to be, and that then you'll have 2 from Bandbooks Art.
Would you send me the link to it so I can look at it and see all of the wonderful stuff? Because I don't have the link to your gallery to buy from.
Okay, yes.
Not that I know how to do that, but
it's okay. Like,
I still want to look at the pretty art.
I went from having 0 collections from Bandbooks Art to having like 5 collections that I launched over the weekend. So,
yeah.
I'll give you like the whole rundown of like, well, this one's only $5, but the gas is also $5.
I'm excited because I did a whole for Amy. She's doing the books. Oh, God, I can't think right now. My brain is gone because I worked out and I went to work, so I'm just dead. But I did the Big Bad Wolf for Amy for art inspired by banned books, because the Big Bad Wolf is iconic for what people think he might be, and the art is kind of wild. It looks like an anti-hero. Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. I put him in the Little Red Riding Hood, and he's got like one picture, he's got abs and stuff, so he's kind of a wily character. He's had to do some shady shit for some money, but I think it was really good. What did you think, Amy?
They were so cool, and they're all over the gallery, your pieces. And yeah, the way that I wound up minting this is that you, Ian, myself a little bit, there was like 8 different artists that donated work, so when you buy it you get a random one, and that way it's fair. So yeah, and then yeah, so you're part of the raffle for it, and
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I've got a whole bunch of art that one day, hopefully this Friday, I can join you in some creation, because I've got some pieces that I'm excited about. So, Amy, I love you. Zeller, thank you for hosting another awesome space. You guys are amazing. I just want to throw roses and tell you guys what an awesome space this is. And you guys are always so supportive of everybody. And I just had to be here. So I'm going to...
Pixie, I want to say one thing to you before you go, if you don't mind. Thank you so much for coming by. You always light up the space. You're super fun. And I am a very big fan of art inspired by banned books, and we are collaborating, and I am actually creating short promotional films for her galleries. So I have gone through, actually we went through all of her galleries. I think we made it to the fourth one. So the first one was The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. The second one is Alice in Wonderland. The third one is Light in August. And that's as far as we got, but she gave me personal tours through these galleries because I want to know her history, because I promote her when I make these films for her. So when I make films for people's brands, I'm going around promoting them too. But Amy, the way that she designs these metaverses is outrageous. Like, I almost couldn't handle all the stimulation because I was watching gallery after gallery. I felt like, you know what, Amy, I got to take this one at a time because these are amazing. So I am right there with you as an art inspired by banned books fan.
And she does the whole gallery right in a month. Like, she's building universes in 1 month and then putting all of our artwork up there. And it's just amazing because I submitted artwork for The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And I got to tell you, yes, I'm with you, supporting Amy until the wheels fall off the bus.
Speaking of Amy has tight time constraints and stuff, I see the Warp Joe in the audience, and what happened was I was joking one day and he was like, I'll take you up on that offer. So I have created the metaverse for the Halloween special, and I'm working with Elo to get the landing page up, and we're going to figure out the contract and the splits and everything, because the theme has changed a little bit, but it's going to be just a graveyard of my AI work. My AI. I feel like I'm missing syllables in there, but my artwork is going to be in there. And then we're going to use the profits from that to buy rugged projects for the metaverse for next year. So eventually we're going to have this project, and it's totally going to be a thing because I made the metaverse and we may as well not waste it now. So yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm getting more established, but I know I'm going to be so involved with all these galleries because there's secret buttons and links, and it's like an adventure going through these metaverses. And she is, I mean, any artist out there, pay attention to what the banned book is for the, actually, I think she's doing once every 3 months, Pixie, right, Art?
Starting in January, starting in the new year, yes.
Okay.
We are changing it. I've been very vocal about that. We need to slow down so that we can expand.
That's exactly right. Because if you're going one a month back to back, you would just burn out. You would go crazy. You've got to have that 3 months, and I'm so happy you came to that realization, because I always have to tell myself to slow down. I'll push something, really push it. And if it's not working, I really have to go, okay, I pushed that like 5 times. Obviously, I'm supposed to slow down for a second. And your project is so amazing that I'm glad that we're pacing it well for you, because people need to understand the gallery is based on the banned book for that period of time. And then people submit art based on that banned book as well, the theme. I mean, it's just like brilliant. So, oh, look, Shelby's back, you guys. Go ahead, Pixie.
I was just waving at Shelby.
Yeah, I mean, Shelby, we were seriously totally on edge with your story.
I'm also back as well. I maybe closed my eyes for longer than a second, so I'm back, by the way.
Oh, yay! I'm so stoked you're back, too. Look it's the crew that was here like an hour ago.
Yeah, my phone died at the most. I was like in the middle of a sentence, and I have no idea what I was going to say.
Oh my gosh, and we were all on edge. I mean, you guys, we got to bring him back to it. Do you remember where he was at with the story? I know Matthew has a really good memory.
I remember.
I don't know what I was talking about at this point.
Go ahead, Pixie. She remembers.
So Shelby was explaining that his mom would never. She wants to buy art, but she does it. It's too complicated for the steps to be able to bring her through, so she can support him. And there's a lot of things like that.
Yeah, and I think those are the right. Thank you. I'm right back there. So I think that those are the key, sort of the keys to what's necessary for there to be I don't even want to say mass adoption. We're talking about mass adoption. It's can we get 10% of the population to even engage in this in a meaningful way? So if you look at the statistics, we're at a very small group of people who are really using this tech, and even these big boom bust cycles that we're experiencing, it's and that's still this tiny group of people though. And so I think that's going to be the more that people, even for our own collections, there's nothing stopping anybody from throwing a PayPal button up on their website, and anybody who tosses them whatever the value is of the NFT, they send them the NFT. I mean, there's nothing stopping us from doing that. I don't see a lot of people doing that. It's not necessarily as kosher as your standard mint button, but at the same time, no one that I know in real life is going to click on the mint button and do that process, because literally it's above what they would want to engage in for that process. I have friends who are two of my filmmaking friends who are both convinced that what I'm doing is on the cutting edge of tech, and there is no way either of those guys is going to go through the process of buying whatever Matic or Ethereum, because I mean the advantage to an Ethereum collection is just a lot of people already have Ethereum from the last boom bust cycle, but that's it. Nothing beyond that. For regular people, it would just be as hard as anything. And Ethereum is just maybe a slightly more well-known crypto brand, but I mean if you're not in this world, I mean the amount of things that I have to explain to you to motivate you to go through that process is the same as I would have to explain to onboard anyone to any token, and we've all seen that that's not the easiest process, or the world would be running on Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. So because especially Poly, the whole world should be, the whole banking system should be now Poly. We should just pick Polygon. Everybody in the world, let's just choose Polygon because it's better than banking, it's cheaper. But no, we haven't done that yet. So
Shelby,
I think that's
whoa. Shelby, are you one of them fuckers that says there's no gas fees on Polygon? I get a gas fee every time.
No, but the gas fees are literally lower than your credit card transaction cost when you go to get a beer at a bar.
I don't drink beer, brother.
Right, when I go get a beer at a bar. But if you get a sandwich, if you get a sandwich, that sandwich, the company hates it because the cost of each credit card swipe, if you swipe your credit card, that sucks. And the Polygon fee is literally lower than that is.
Well, you brought up PayPal. I was gonna go to a different route. I was thinking, what about Cash App? Because a lot of people use Cash App, and I know they've got Bitcoin and Ethereum on there. I don't know what other cryptos they got besides those two, but maybe Cash App might be something maybe more geared toward the standard mom and pop that's getting into the crypto and the NFTs.
I mean, I just think because okay, it's not our NFTs are not secure. Mine are certainly not securities. They are that's a TV show. It's art that I'm selling as digital art. Good luck with that whole securities business. So I can, you can give me $20 and I can give you one of those. And that's the same thing as any of the other art I've ever sold. And good luck, FCC, on that one. We can get into the weeds on it if you want, because that's not, America has always traditionally supported that interpretation of art and sales. So I think that there's, and that is I think one of the big gateways to not only just getting out of the bear market, but for I think overall success within our sphere, because say say we all got somebody to buy one of our NFTs with like regular fiat currency, right? But then that person now has that NFT and puts it on the secondary market and sells it. And now they have Matic. Now they're part of the game, you know. And it's really like, how do you, you know, how, like, it is same philosophy that I would talk to people about like during the Gem Show world, where it's like, you know, you don't want to be the only booth set up, and you want to make a world in which you're interacting with a large group of people in the public, like outside of our magical little Harry Potter land that we've created. All right, I'm sorry, I'm like talking while you got your hand up here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Art, go ahead and respond.
Oh, I wanted Shelby to finish what he was gonna say, but so my experience has been, people have been like, but you can pay with your credit card, with Voice. But every time I go to pay with my credit card, Citibank is like, that's not a thing. And so eventually it's not going to be 1 a.m. when I'm trying to when I've gathered my courage to actually buy an NFT, and I will call them and be like, can you please let me purchase shit? Thank you. But yeah, you're totally right. Like, I don't want to have to learn. Like, nobody should have to become like a Solidity developer just to buy an NFT, like to buy art. Like, you know, because they're like, just do your research. And I'm like, literally, okay, this wasn't the story I was going to tell, but like, one day I was telling someone they should collaborate with me with Banned Books Art, and I asked him towards the end of his space, so like he started a new space and I entered in the space so that we can continue talking, and he was like, well, have you read my white paper? And I was like, literally, you just need to put your art in a Google Drive and I will display your art. Like, why are you telling me to read your white paper? I do not need to know this information. And like, honestly, nobody